Hi, everyone.
Mhm.
Let's go around the table and you can introduce yourself, introduce who you're playing. You can let us know what clan you are, and if anything else you want to plug away on, I am all about it. Starting with Lyman.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name's Lyman. I am playing Devin, a Tremere vampire, and I kind of forgot what else Nate just told me to say.
No, that was it.
Oh,
You can
okay.
also plug away on anything else if you want on socials, all that.
I
I'm all
mean,
cool
if
with it.
anyone wants to find me on Twitter, it's Lyman Gilbert 4 or something like that. I think, but let's push off to somebody else. Actually, I think I'm talking too long.
No worries. Next up, Connor.
Hi, I'm Connor. I use he or whatever pronouns. I really don't care. Um, I am playing Rob. No, what's his name? I'm playing a character.
This is a
It's a
great
great
start.
character. Um, his
Dr.
name's
Pat.
Pat. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, he's a gangrel. He uses he/him pronouns. I'm Cyberwolf 1 on many things. There you go.
Hey, awesome job. You got it. And Lonnie.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lonnie or Looney Shaws on Twitter for the time being. Um, I am playing Brigitte. She is a Ravnos. She's of the clan Ravnos, and she really likes hanging around like small little art galleries. So today's setting is going to be absolutely perfect for her. And I guess I'll keep it pretty short too. The main thing that I have is literally tomorrow on Lost Caravan, I will be in another game called Simbarum. I will be playing a oh gosh, I'm playing a self-taught mystic, and I'm really excited because one of the other people in our group is playing a witch hunter. So we're going to be butting heads the entire time, and I'm so ready for it. So that's it.
That's a great system. It's a very fun system to watch. And hi, everyone. My name is Nate Bushman. I will be your storyteller for tonight's dive into not Boston's nightlife. I'm a portrait product photographer in Los Angeles, sometimes an occasional tailor and makeup artist, and doing too many things that I have difficulty saying no to. Uh, Outside of that, if you want, as long as Twitter's hopefully around, we'll see after this weekend, Nate_B. My Instagram is IndieNate, INDIE Nate. Or if you want, just you can visit my photo website, natebushman.com. There's good photos on there. And I will be playing all the wonderful NPCs you'll be meeting tonight, which will be surprising because I can tell you now there's a lot, depending on how you play this scenario out. So before we dive in, I always like doing this with Vampire because it's one of those games it makes sense to do this. A small content warning. Vampire the Masquerade is a game of personal and political horror. It resides in the world of darkness, a Dionysian night filled with vitriolic twilight. If a rating were to be applied to this game, it would most likely be M for mature. If you're not 18 or older, you probably shouldn't be watching this, depending on what happens. And with that, without further ado, let's dive right into it. The world of darkness is a fascinating place, whether it's Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, or elsewhere. The Kindred of the Night makes such interesting music. Tonight, though, we zoom in on the old town itself, Boston, Massachusetts. Boston is a city of history. Now, you can look up that history online, in a book, or in a TV show or movie. But what about that other history? The actual history? The one mortal society doesn't know about? It's the history the the three of you know about. Boston isn't run by mortals. Vampires rule the city. For years, Boston has been under the rule of what is known as the Camarilla. Now, to my players and those watching, the Camarilla is politics. They are the governing rule of Boston's kindred society. Whether kindred like it or not, it's a disputable topic. When the Camarilla declares praxis over a city, their laws, their rules are the ones they expect everyone to follow. Now, a Camarilla court is made up of multiple layers. You have the Primogen, who are usually the oldest kindred of their particular clans in the city, who act as advisors of sorts. Then there's the heralds, the messengers and boon keepers. There's the sheriff, who it's best not to annoy or piss off the sheriff, as it'll probably be the last thing you see in your unlife. And then the tip of the top, the apex of kindred politics, the prince. The prince is the ruler of the city, the domain. It's theirs to do with as they please by steering the culture and kindred however they so choose. The prince may be loved, loathed, removed from power, or planted there. No matter what, the prince's influence affects every vampire within their domain. The prince is the city. Now, since 2014, the Prince of Boston has been one Hazel Iverson of Clan Ventru. She has only been in control for a few years, but is already making strides to bring Boston forward into a new future. Everyone knows that she's methodical, calculative, somewhat manipulative, and will do whatever it takes to ensure Boston stands as a united front under their rule, which in a way leads to the three of you tonight and what we will be playing through. Tonight is an interesting night. Tonight is, in a weird way, a celebration. Earlier this week, the three of you were given an assignment by Prince Iverson. I will let you decide personally if that was your first time ever meeting them or if you have seen them before. That is a personal choice, all yours. She created this little coterie, as it were, to complete a task. Task you accomplished, you did it with flying colors. Better than anyone else could have done in the domain. The completion of this task has granted you what can best be described as preliminary access into the Camarilla, because they, much as I said at the top with politics, they are a bit picky, as it were, about who they let in. Your timing, though, is perfect, because tonight you prepare to head out to what is known as your first Elysium, a soiree of sorts gathering all the kindred in Boston and across the state. It's a safe haven to mingle, dine, and at this particular venue, take in some historic art. That said, let's backtrack a bit. Before we get into the actual soiree itself, I have two things I want to take care of. First off, let's determine where your hunger's at, which adds a nice little flavor to the dice. On Roll20, there is a browse check button that you can click. Because this is a one-shot, you're going to click it 3 times. And that will determine what your hunger's at. It should be set at 0 for now. You're going to click it 3 times, and that will set it at what it's at for the night. And let me know what it's at. So there's a possibility you could have 0 hunger. There's also a possibility you could have 3 hunger, which would be wonderful chaos.
I got 1.
You got 1.
Me too.
Okay, so I couldn't start hunger at 0.
Yep. And I will make sure we go through this. You got 1.
But
So you
went
got
up
1. So,
twice. So I'm at
Sweet.
3.
So you should actually, it should just be at 2 because everyone started at 0. So you'll be at 2 hunger.
Okay.
Yep. All right, cool. I wanted to just make sure we got that out of the way because it's always a very pressing mechanic that I sometimes forget about, even though it's very important. The second thing I would love to know, and I'm not going to make this decision, you get to tell me what it is. What was the job you were tasked to do by the prince that got you preliminary access into the Camarilla?
Oh gosh.
And it can be anything. And for the record, for those watching, I've run this before and I've heard some strange things.
just like anything.
It can be whatever you want. I would say just keep in mind it's the prince of the city asking
Right.
you to do a task that got you preliminary access. So it could be either if you want to make it something small that's significant, that's fine. If you want to make it this massive thing, that's
Yeah.
cool too. I leave it up to the three of you to decide.
Did we perform the task together, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
as a
okay.
group. And you did it
Okay.
with flying colors.
Okay. So a task for 3 people for the Prince of the
Mhm.
City.
Oh gosh.
We wrangled a pet tiger from the zoo.
I mean, we do
Clear
have
that's
a
not the
vet
first
among
time I've
us,
heard
so
that?
like,
Yeah.
It is a rare albino tiger.
Is that the group consensus? Because I will take that full
I-
on.
I'm
I like it.
absolutely fine with it.
Okay, I love it.
So White Tiger basically. Oh my
Yes.
god. I'm so curious how that happened on so many levels, especially in Boston. Oh my god. But also as mentioned, you had touche.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go with it. Why not?
I can give you some flavor if you really want. I mean, I feel like I rode it through town and I compelled people to shut up about it.
Only because I think that'd be a massive masquerade breach.
Yeah,
I
no.
would say yes if you really want, but just keep in mind there's masquerade issues with
Right,
that.
yeah.
I'm
No.
cool. I will say somehow it was a tiger. I don't know why the prince wants one. I will figure that out as we play.
I feel like a prince of vampires would love a tiger. Just to
Look.
have.
Look, we already had Tiger King.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is true.
Vampire
you know-
tiger prince.
I feel like
Yeah.
she is a cool cat and or kitten.
I mean, anything is possible.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll shift forward to what is this night. And what we're going to do is one by one, starting with Lyman. Again, tell us your character name and describe their appearance to us and what you are doing before you head out to this event.
Okay, before I head out, so am I at home?
Yeah. So yeah, you're either at home or if you're somewhere else, it's just or if you're on your way there, whatever way you want to interpret it.
Okay. So my name is okay. I do want to clarify one thing. The type of vampire I am, is that also like my last name?
Nope.
Okay.
It's just the
So
clan you are.
Okay. So I'm a vampire, Devin of the clan Tremere. And he's a tall, he's got pulled back, long black hair. And he's fucking super pale. All the veins. As a vampire, usually would. So he usually wears a puffy green jacket with a furry hood and just kind of jeans and some boots. And that's gonna be kind of how he goes to the Camarilla party, I think.
Nice. And then, as we shift away from your character,
Right. Sorry.
Connor, as we shift away from Devin, Connor, same question. Tell us your name again and what you're doing before this party.
So, there's the slamming of like kennel door and the sound of like a whole bunch of dogs barking. As a gentleman who looks very similar to how I'm cosplaying right now. Just bags under his eyes, super pale, short, dark hair, probably aged up to like mid-30s. But he's got black scrubs on, running shoes, and jumping into like a pickup truck and heading to town along with a larger German Shepherd dog is Dr. Robinson, Pat.
What's the dog's name, out of curiosity?
Duke. Duke is a boy.
And I will say for Devin as well, all of you have an invitation to this, and I will and no matter what, for yours specifically, Doctor, Duke is listed as being allowed to enter the building with you. And then finally, we shift to, I'm going to get the name wrong. Was it Brigitte or Brigitte?
Brigitte, yeah.
We shift to Brigitte. So Lonnie, tell us again, Brigitte, and then what do they look like and what are they doing as they get ready?
Sure. So my character's name is Brigitte, like we just said. And she has very long, curly. I couldn't make myself look like her because she has long curly like copper, kind of like reddish copper hair. Almost kind of looks like she hasn't really cut it in a while. So it's kind of like maybe mid waist. But it looks very, like nicely curled. She doesn't have a place where she is currently like getting ready, like she's not in her house or anything like that. She's actually, if anything, trying to see if she can do a little bit of shopping just to figure out what to wear for the night. Because, you know, she doesn't have a permanent residence where she kind of has all of her clothes. So a lot of times she will just find the next outfit that she needs every once in a while, just either by shopping or, um, you know, just grabbing something that she thinks looks nice, whether it's hers or not. Um, so I think right now she's shopping and preparing for a soiree because I'm assuming she would never have really had that much to wear for that sort of thing anyway. So
Only because you said you're shopping, I have to do this.
Oh.
We're gonna have our first roll.
Oh no! Oh no! I made a
Can
mistake.
you?
No, I'm
And
sorry
I'll
about
do
my
my
head.
best to say it as skill and attribute, just because roll 20 is funny like that. Roll finance plus resolve, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make it simple. Just do a difficulty of 1.
Okay.
So when you roll that, I believe it's gonna do skill, drop down menu for attribute. Yep, you got it.
So
Let's
is that
see.
2 successes then?
2 successes. Hey, you got it.
Sweet.
Yeah, you. What outfit in particular do you think Brigitte would love to wear for a soiree? And I'm gonna say you find it, and you have no problem acquiring it.
Great. I feel like she would want something, you know, not anything that would stand out too much. So maybe like a just a plain black, maybe like a scoop neck cocktail dress, something that she thinks would be appropriate for the invitation that she received.
There you go.
So,
I mean, that's always a perfect outfit. When in
yeah.
doubt, standard black is always the best. As you're done shopping, our view shifts. We move towards a sort of historic landmark in the greater Boston area. We move all the way towards, everyone knows it, Harvard University. Located inside Harvard Square in Cambridge, a wonderful suburb of Boston, Harvard is a great many things: an institution of learning, of science, of law, also surprisingly of art. They actually have one of the premier theater companies in the world that is owned by Harvard. It is now midnight. Harvard Square is dead quiet. The chilly November night encapsulates the area. One by one, each of you individually arrives outside the gates of Harvard University that are directly across from the entrance of Harvard Square Station. And the reason why you all gather there is on your invitation specifically, it says for your group to meet up outside as a group together before you actually get to your destination. So all of you at the same time sort of converge on this one spot.
Hello.
Brigitte will kind of like nod and be like, well, it's good to see you both again. Our last meeting was pretty adventurous, so hopefully tonight will be a smooth, relaxing night.
Well,
I just want to get it over with, to be quite honest.
I want to see another tiger.
Well,
right.
I don't know if the tiger was exactly the entertainment for the night.
Oh, did you want a lion? We could probably go back.
Well, then we also need to get a bear
Well,
to
of
complete the
course.
trio. So.
Oh my.
Hey, what are we supposed to do after we get here? Do either of you know? Does Duke know?
Do you know?
Just looks up at you, doesn't say anything, but just their tail wags.
The invitation doesn't say where to go after this, do they?
No. Oh,
So actually, if you look at the invitation, which I'm assuming you're going to off that question, to describe the invitation in full, think of the most decadent, like take a holiday card or like a party invite. It's 10 times better than that. Like this thing has gold trimming around it. It's got embroidery. It's got like embellishments that could best be described as almost Art Deco all around its edges and its top. And on gold letters, it says, "Your presence is requested, a celebration of your recent achievement, a chance to meet your new community. Arrive at midnight with your group, don't be late." And its point gives you the directions to what is known as the Harvard Art Museum, which you would know is inside the campus.
Aha. So we gotta go. What time is it right now?
Midnight.
It is now midnight.
Ah, damn, we're late.
I would say on time.
Oh, okay. I mean, we're not in the. Well, anyway.
The beauty of these late November nights too is it's so much darker earlier, so the sun won't be rising for a little bit. So you got a lot more time than you realize.
Oh yeah.
November's actually a great time for vampires.
It's true.
So
do you make your way inside?
Yes.
I'm ready to appreciate some art.
You make your way through Harvard's campus as you go past the gate. Again, as I mentioned, it's midnight. It's kind of dead quiet, which is kind of weird because it's a college campus. I mean, let's be honest, college kids being quiet at midnight, that's a little absurd. But at the moment you walk through, taking in like that most iconic sort of New England look of just those old brick buildings, those old brownstones nearby too. And it's just that, no foliage on the trees because it's November. Why would there be? So it's this wonderful fall, kind of spooky vibe going on. And then eventually you keep walking further into the campus and you see the building before you. It's massive. It's hard to miss. It's this long brick building that's about 3 or more floors tall. And you know immediately that's your destination. It's the Harvard Art Museum. And what you see is the front entrance, which there is only one entrance visible from what you can see. There are 2 people in the front, look like they're wearing suits. And even from the distance you're at, these people look huge. Like, best way to describe it is like it's a sofa with a suit on. Like that type of build. They're just massive.
You think they could make bigger suits for these guys?
Evening.
Yeah, evening.
One of them doesn't look at you. The other one, when you're looking at it, you're facing the door. The one on the right looks down. It's like, "Yes, invitations, please."
Yeah, we'll hold them out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
One of them takes it. Again, large, imposing figure, but at the same time, it's just like, it's probably just hired whoever, just to make sure safety protocols and all that. They take a second, look over your invitation, and they look at the 3 of you knowingly for a couple seconds before they look back at it, and then they hand you back your invite. Like, "Okay, let me set some ground rules for you before you enter. Our esteemed guests, as they say. This is sacred ground. No violence of any kind will be tolerated. The best way to put it is, whatever happens, just don't throw the punch or take the punch. Everyone's on their hopeful best behavior. And enjoy tonight." And they open the door ever so slowly.
Can I just confirm something? Did you just tell me to dodge the punch?
Don't take the punch and just dodge it too in case it gets thrown.
All right, cool. All right. Sounds we're clear then.
It's the no nonsense type of place.
You know, as a Ravnos, I'm like, yeah, no, don't even have to worry about it.
They knowingly, more than Devin and our doctor, they look at you very intensely. And they say,
Can
as
they
before you
tell?
walk in, Brigitte, be mindful of the illusions.
I'll kind of just give like a knowing sigh of, they know what I can do. But she doesn't actually say that, but just kind of that vibe.
It's that visual eye roll.
Yep. Like, you don't have to worry about me. And she'll just kind of brush past them and walk in.
Awesome. Some fun facts about the Harvard Art Museum as your characters walk in. Much like any other museum, hey, it's a collection of art and artifacts throughout the ages. What a shock. However, what separates the Harvard Art Museum from other institutes, and it's very, very fascinating, is pigments. Harvard Art Museum houses the Forbes Pigment Collection. It's an assemblage of more than over 2,700 different colored pigments, some of which are completely fine to handle and touch, some of which are literally under lock and key because of how deadly they are to touch and smell. And according to what I found online, this is the world's largest collection of colors that have been preserved and archived for use in the museum, whether it's for display purposes or research. When you enter the museum, you enter through the lobby floor, and you take a second to just take in your surroundings. You see about 24 people mingling about. When three of you fully enter, especially with Duke in tow, you get this weird feeling for a second that all the eyes kind of fall upon the three of you, or technically four of you, and then they go back to their conversations. But you can't help but get this feeling that even though they're not looking at you right now, you get this feeling that you're being watched with great interest. When you take a second to look up, there's about 4 floors you see that are visible. The second floor, though, you see a figure walking left to right, looking down at the crowd as they cross. They have a glass in hand, and they watch the 4 of you very intently with every step you take in. You know who this is. They're the reason you are here tonight. And from their vantage point, you can see that they raise a glass at you, and then they turn around, disappearing into the second floor.
I look at my empty hand and kind of just do the gesture of a cheer back without, having a drink. So
I just wave.
When you do that, perfect timing. You notice too, there's like 2 servers who are rapidly moving around this space with drink trays. And when you do that, one ever so quickly approaches you. It's like, yes, may I serve you a drink? And you look at it, it's like there's like 3 perfect cocktail glasses filled to the top with red crimson.
Couldn't have had better timing if I'd asked, and we'll take one and kind of just like swirl it around in the glass for a minute.
In a cocktail glass? It's gonna fall over.
They also offer the same drink to Devin and our doctor.
I'll just drink it.
Where was this drink
right.
sourced from?
When you drink it, what would you say is your character's preferred favorite taste from when they were human?
I'd
Something
have
that
to
they miss
say,
that they don't get anymore.
I'd have to say Swedish fish. I'm not even lying. That's something I planned
That's
beforehand. Because the sheet says desire, and I couldn't think of anything.
That's fine. Oh, that's fine. That's a different thing entirely, but that's fine.
I know, I read it, but
what about the other 2? What's something you think your character misses from their human life? Like taste-wise or smell-wise?
Honestly, I'm just gonna go with a basic glass of red wine.
Okay.
Thinking about when my character's from, probably moonshine.
Minus the Swedish fish, as that's a little more difficult to do through blood.
Right.
But I love that was said, because that's amazing. For our doctor, you take a sip, and it tastes exactly like that, as if it was tailor-made for you. And then the same thing for Brigitte. It's the same thing. It tastes like the most stunning red wine. And you even take a second where you look at it, and you're like, is this actually red wine? And you're like, no, it's clear as day blood. But the
It's
fact
so
that they
easy to
did
convince myself, though, with the coloring.
yeah, it tastes like the best. Are you more like Pinot Noir, Cabaret, whatever one you prefer? It tastes exactly like that to the T.
Okay.
And that's when they lean in and said, compliments from, and they point up to the second floor as they then take a bow and walk away.
Well, now I raise my actual glass.
There you go.
Make it less awkward.
I mean, have
And
y'all
again,
done any of this before?
Drink blood? Yes.
No, I mean like party for our
Oh, no.
company.
Well, I do go to smaller art galleries for, people trying to just showcase their artwork and pay for a space. This is a lot more politics and a lot more expensive art. So, wouldn't say I have, no. Anything
I-
you're familiar with?
Oh no, this is not the kind of crowd that I go for. I was trying to see if either one of you know if like, do we just go up and talk to her, or do we have to?
I would say no.
I feel like usually when I go to art galleries, a lot of times the person of the hour will kind of find their way to you eventually. Going to chase after them. If they're busy running a party or a gallery, you might just want to wait for them to come to us.
And then also when they could kill us very easily, generally just wait.
Just try to blend in.
Just blend in. As the three of you, I keep forgetting, four of you, apologies to Duke, as the four of you take a moment to work that out, give me all of you an awareness plus wits roll, and it'll be a difficulty of 2. Success. 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 Hey, you all get it.
Hey.
Excellent job. The three of you, not distracted at all. You're taking a moment to look around the room, as I mentioned, enjoy a drink. You're kind of trying to look at everything at once. I mean, you are in a museum, so it's also that thing where your eyes are just kind of going everywhere. This, though, all three of you notice this because it's actually walking towards you. You see someone approaching you in a. I do this in a lot in my games. I get a lot of jokes when I do this. Everyone gets very good fashion descriptions. It's just who I am. I can't help it. You're gonna get one. This person approaches you. They are in a stunning black velvet dress that goes right down to about where their kneecaps are. Best way to describe it is think of it almost like a 60s mod dress. They have black stockings, high-heeled shoes. Their arms are interesting. They have what could best be described as almost henna-style art, like tattoo work, going up and down both arms. And the thing that makes that stands out more than the henna is their hair. Their hair is a 1960s style bob cut that's been dyed emerald green. And when they are within eyesight of you, you notice their eyes are like a pale green. They also have like a fabulous piece of like jewelry around their neck, and they just approach the three of you with a big smile and saying, "Hello there, our esteemed guests. Pleasure to see that you've made it right on time."
Good evening.
Thank you for inviting us to this
Party.
hearty whatever. Words, etiquette. I have etiquette in this game, I swear. Like actual skill I have. Lonnie, not so much.
If you want, because I think this is always interesting, all of you give me politics plus intelligence.
Interesting.
I was
And
so ready to decide if I needed to do politics or occult, so I did one in both just to be safe.
difficulty 3.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
It's okay. If you
that
already rolled,
doesn't
don't worry
change the
about it.
result.
Politics plus what? Sorry.
Plus intelligence. I just want to see what happens. Sometimes it's interesting to see how this stuff works out.
And the difficulty was 3.
3, 2.
Okay.
No, that's
Success.
fine. I figured. No one got it. It's fine.
Oh, no. Okay.
So if you want, this is also a learning thing. If you want to do this, so all of you have a thing called willpower. You can spend a willpower point, and then the sheet on Roll20 is not the best at this. You can re-roll 3, up to 3 failures that are not hunger dice. Entirely up to you if you want to. You can do that whenever you so choose. I just wanted to make sure you knew that. Willpower is very much a resource you can spend, but also don't deplete it because that also has consequences. If not, you all kind of look at this person a little quizzically, like internally, like, who the hell is this? Because you've probably never seen them before, but they're just giving you the most genuinely happy smile that you're there. And then they're probably noticing that you're all very quiet as to you don't know who they are. And they're like, oh, right, you're all very, very new to this. My name is Journey Atkins. I am the herald or messenger for our, and she points to the second floor, our lovely prince, as it were.
Ah.
I am also the organizer of this little soiree, as they say with a very massive smile.
You
Pretty
did an
much.
incredible job. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you. I do what I can to make sure we all get to have a little fun here and there. If there is any questions the three, and she looks at Duke, sorry, the four of you have, I am here to help answer them as best as possible. As I figure this might be overwhelming and very new to the three. Well, again, four of you.
Do we have any responsibilities at this party?
If the prince calls upon you, probably best to go answer. That's
Well,
the only
that-
responsibility I can think of.
Well,
at
that
the
also
moment.
answers the question of if we approach them or if they come to us.
Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely and she looks up at the second floor. Especially with her, I would wait till you're summoned. She
Well,
can be a
there's
lot.
God,
plenty
we're
of
so smart.
nailed it. Well, I guess in the meantime, there's plenty of people to meet and art to see.
Yeah, there's certainly.
I would say at this point, for the doctor, you notice the journey loses a little bit of composure for a second and is looking at Duke and then looks at you saying, "Is it okay to pet the dog?"
Duke, you gonna be a good boy?
Duke just looks at you with the biggest, like, yep, just like, "I promise."
All right.
She's
Yes,
like,
you can.
yes. But she does it in such an awkward way where it's like she's standing a little bit farther back. She's like, I don't want the fur on my outfit, but I really just want to pet the dog.
Oh, Rob. Pat's covered in it.
Like, oh. It's like, and that's when
He
you.
here straight after work. He's
Are
still in
you
a
still in
scrub.
scrubs?
Wait, are you still in
and tennis
scrubs?
shoes.
Yes.
She's
Yes.
looking at your outfit very intently now.
I love it.
It's like, Doctor, while I appreciate you coming directly probably from your job, if you need an outfit change, I can help you with a piece of wardrobe off in the corner if needed. Let me know.
All right.
Just let me
I
know.
will let you know.
And you just see her give a tiny bit of an eye roll, just like, oh God.
Somebody came here without etiquette.
I mean, sometimes it's the best way to play.
I'm not sure that I have etiquette, actually.
For
You
some reason,
see-
I figured that my character had a lot of it. I don't know why.
We'll see what happens. It's always fun. You see that she stops petting Duke and starts being more like, okay, I'm presentable again. Another server walks by just to make sure there are drinks. She grabs one very quickly and then takes the longest sip imaginable. Not sure if that's because of the scrubs that are on the doctor right now, or she maybe is more stressed than she appears. But she finishes it quickly. It's like, is there any questions in terms of people in the room you might be interested to know about?
Actually, I was gonna ask her what it tastes like when she drinks the blood.
She gives you a long stare for a second before she answers. It's like, that's a very particular question to ask all of us, as this is all being tailor-made for all of us. As there are, if you drink, if you drink alcohol, it's going to be in the blood for a bit, so you can kind of get those faint hints here and there.
Mm.
As for me, the best whiskey I've had in a while. I just wish the kick was still there.
Oh, I did have a question. Are there any vampire groups in the room that we should be wary of?
Ooh, always an excellent question. She then turns around, like, not like offensively, it'd be like my back's to you.
Right.
She backs up for a second and lines up with the three of you. It's like, well, let's see who's here. We have, and she's taking a much longer second to look around the room that she probably likes. It's like, well, she points to the second floor. She's like, well, we have our prince, who I'm pretty sure you're all well acquainted with.
Right.
Hail to the king, as it were. She says that in the most stupid sort of laugh, where she's just like, I can't believe I just said that. Again, if she summons you, make sure you go immediately upstairs, because I can tell you right now, she's probably not going to come on this floor unless there's an absolutely good reason she needs to.
Right.
Same time, hopefully she doesn't, because she's always a tricky one to pinpoint. She kind of has a mind of her own.
Well,
She's looking around the room very, very intently, trying to kind of piece things together. She's like,
Mhm.
"Oh yes, so we have me. I'm your herald.
Mhm.
Haha. My associate, or technically my boss, if you want to put it that way, April, is walking around. She points out a woman with sort of blonde, wavy hair that's almost like it came out of like the 1920s, the best way to put it. She's wearing like a gold dress and has darker skin. It's like she's technically my boss. She's, if you want to talk to her, by all means. She's also, and she leans into the three of you. She's a pain in the ass. I prefer not to deal with her tonight. We also have, let's see, we have, and she starts pointing out all these names that seem rapid fire, but she points them out as more of these aren't people to be wary of, just more if they talk to you, it's best to know who they are.
mhm.
There is a, what is known as the Primogen of the Toreador. Her name is Hilda McAndrews. Ginger hair, very curvy body, wearing a very sort of, best way to describe it is almost like a 60s style dress. That's very French, probably the best way to put it.
Hmm.
She points out an utterly terrifying figure, which you would all know as a Nosferatu. It's like, oh yes, that's Caius. He has very nicely swept back hair that's very slicked back, but their face is like almost like a skull with skin on it. There is no nose. It is literally just a gaping curve of a hole staring back at you. But the thing is, no one seems offended by him. They all seem very happy to be in their presence. It's just more of, if one of you was a Toreador, I would have you make a willpower roll to see if you could actually look at it. You also have a couple people in suits. One of them is a professor of the university himself. Their name is Richard Dunham. They are of Clan Malkavian. They are the Primogen for that. There's another who is one of the Ventrue of the city. You, three of you would know them immediately because when you first met the prince, they were in the room with you. They were the sheriff to the prince. Their name is Galeb. They have a nice bushy black beard, long black hair. They are wearing a very, very proper suit that is the most Ventrue possible thing possible. And then she kind of looks around the room. Is like, oh yeah, and then that's my friend Josephine. She looks at you, Devin. She's like, she's also a Tremere. I'm not sure if you met her. She's wonderful. She has on a black leather jacket. Not a black. She has on a blue leather jacket with black
Ooh.
pants and a purple shirt underneath that just pierces out of it. And she's weirdly enough holding this extremely large, what can best be described as a grimoire that she is hugging at her chest, like it is her lifeblood, the thing that she lives by.
As she should.
As she should. I mean, research is always the best thing. And you see, of all things, and it's always weird seeing this because it doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of feeding. Someone with a little bit of a darker skin tone, gorgeous long black hair. They are in a fully white suit, which is kind of impressive because feeding with a white suit, that's a hell of a thing to pull off without getting blood on you.
Yeah.
She just points at her and says, "Oh, that's my good friend Zoe. She's the Toreador. She works with Hilda. She's written quite a few good books. She's a very good author. I don't know how she wears outfits like that though. It makes no sense to me."
I mean, as a Toreador, I feel like it's a challenge to herself.
It definitely is, and she keeps pulling it off in spades. I've never once seen her have a drop of blood on any of her outfits. I don't know how she does it. It's at that moment as she's talking to the three of you, almost out of nowhere, and I literally mean that, like you look around and you have no idea where this person came from. Out of nowhere, a person approaches you. It's almost as if they stepped out of a shadow. It's the best way to describe it. They are not dressed fancy at all. They are in the most punk rock leather jacket. They have also, they look, the best way to describe it, and it's going to sound really funny, they are the most Jessica Jones looking person in this room. With their black hair, they have ripped pair of jeans on, thigh high combat boots, nice dark eyeliner. And Journey just looks at them saying, "Jesus, Lydia, please stop doing that. I hate when you." Urgh. To which they just look at her and say, "I'm sorry. The three of you, can you follow me? You've been," and she points upstairs. "You've been requested upstairs."
Already. Oh no.
By the prince or someone else?
By the lovely prince.
Okay.
And she says that in such a sarcastic way.
I just wanted to make sure. If it was somebody else, I was going to tell him to piss off.
I mean, I would love to see that. And she just gives you the best smile possible. Like, that'd be very impressive in this setting.
Yeah.
Pretty much whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Okay. You
Oh.
guys
Well, we were told to
go immediately.
go immediately, so I guess we're ready.
Yeah.
Ju-
Let's go.
Journey quickly has the three of you stop. Like, just remember, just be as courteous and hospitable as possible. Even if you don't want to be.
Yes, Mom.
Do you say that out loud just out of curiosity?
Kind of like quietly. And then
she slightly gives you like this leering look like, did they just okay then? And they quickly wave you away. It's like, have fun, as they walk off, walking towards where Zoe is. And you can then hear them have the loudest conversation of like, oh, it's so good to see you. It's like, how do you not get red on your outfit? You look at this woman who you've heard is named Lydia. And again, they are not dressed like this room. Everyone else in the room is dressed super nice. They are dressed like they stepped out of a 1970s like punk venue. And they don't seem to
Great.
care.
Love
Like,
it.
and the thing is, anytime someone looks at them too, they give them a very wide berth as you walk towards one of the stairwells. Which then makes you wonder, who the heck is this person? And why is everyone kind of giving them this very wide space to walk through? Again, there's like at least 12 dozen people in the lobby. You go through, you're probably like near the center. You walk towards the left side of where you entered, and you see a stairwell that goes up. When you get upstairs, best way to describe this open space is when you're on the lobby floor, you can look all the way up and see all the floors. They have those sort of gorgeous old like columns that almost feel very Greek in nature. You get to the second floor, you see gorgeously long, like huge paintings that are just occupying each wall. Some of them you probably recognize, like, oh, that's a Matisse over there. It's like, oh, they actually have a Picasso here. That's kind of fascinating. When you get on the second floor, though, and you are following Lydia as you do this, you get to the second floor, and she looks at the three of you and says, wait a second, stop here. And you all stop as they just look at you and they say, let me just make sure she's ready for you. Just wait 1 second. And she walks forward.
I mean, it's fair.
Person you see her walk towards, this sort of, you can see it from your vantage point, even though they're a little bit away. They have on a red pinstripe suit. And it's not just like, oh, the jacket and pants. Like, no, the entire thing is a red pinstripe suit, including the vest that they are wearing underneath their jacket. Very pointed. And you can't see, like, anything below the pant line. I'm not sure what they're wearing shoe-wise or anything like that, but, like, their hair is done up in a very fancy professional bun. Their hair is ashen blonde. And their eyes are immediately from that distance striking and piercing in an extremely intimidating way. And you can see Lydia is just taking a moment to chat with them, and they haven't come back yet. But you're all just standing there waiting.
While that's happening, I think Brigitte would be either she'd be looking at a painting that she isn't familiar with, or she'd be like very casually just being like, oh, that's a Monet. And I don't know if either of the people with me would even care about it, but she's almost just kind of doing it out of like excitement that she knows it, but trying to be like, yeah, that's that. Oh, that one is, and just not even reading the plaques. Like she's just pulling some of this from memory.
And
An
it's the
original
type of thing to. Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Is it
Original.
an original or a print?
I sure hope it'd be an original in a museum like this.
With your
Oh, that's
background,
right.
it's an original.
Yeah.
I forgot we were in a museum for a second.
Yes. Actually, I'm really happy that I actually visited the Harvard Art Museum before this,
Yeah, it's
so
a
I can
great
be like, oh
place.
yeah, I know exactly what this looks like.
It's a gorgeous place.
Mhm.
Yeah, for Brigitte specifically, again, you look at all this and it's all authentic. And it's kind of shocking because why are some of these pieces in this kind of small museum? It's just very weird. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but at the same time, you're looking at stunning art that rarely gets to be seen up in this area.
I mean,
Well, if they're so known for their color pigments and stuff like that, they have a reputation for something. So
it's got to be a perk of being a vampire as well.
does she own the museum? Is she like the secret money funder?
No, but vampires do run Boston, so
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's at this, as you're all discussing the paintings, Lydia comes back, slowly walking towards you. This time not sneaking up on you out of nowhere. This time they're approaching you ever so quickly. She's, just follow me.
Okay.
And she immediately just leads the charge. And
as we're walking, I go, so she's not ready.
oh no, she's now ready, I promise.
Is there anything we should know going in to meet with her?
To be totally honest, I wish I had an answer for that, but I don't.
Oh.
She is difficult to read.
Like a foreign language.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Just this one's ancient and super foreign. All right, let's go. It's going to be fun, guys.
She hears you
All
say fun. She's like, sure. She takes a second to look at Duke. It's like, they are probably very obedient. Just make sure they stay obedient around her if possible.
All right, dude. Can't be like at home. Keep your ass on the ground. Can't be on the couch. All right.
Lydia holds back a chuckle from that. It's like, okay, sorry, that was really funny. You make your way down that hallway, and you get to the opposite end of the room that you were looking at. This time you can see them more clear as day. Again, red pinstripe suit. It is like perfect, not crimson red, it's that type of vibrant red. Actually, it's like our doctor's background. It's that type of red on the shirt, or no, like on their suit. It's amazing. It's got like black pinstripes going down it. They have very pointed heels. And again, their hair looks like it was done up in a bun. It's ashen blonde. They have very basic, like, their makeup's not over the top. It's very business professional. And they're not looking at you. They're taking a second to admire a painting as they are slowly with a wine glass swashing around the crimson substance in their drink. And before they notice you approaching, they take a sip. And then they turn around and look at the three of you. To which again, you all know who this person is. You've met them ever so briefly, but their impact on this city cannot be overstated. And I just simply say, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Have you had a refreshment yet?
2, I believe.
Do you need another?
I won't say no. Absolutely.
They don't say anything. They snap their fingers, and like 5 seconds later, someone's already there with a tray.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not tailored to your taste. It's tailored to mine at the moment, but enjoy. Have a drink with me.
I will cautiously take a sip.
This is going to sound strange as a description.
Yes, it is.
It tastes, and this is going to sound weird, it tastes very bubbly and happy. Like when you drink it, you just feel really delightful. You're not sure what's in it that's causing that, but whatever it is, it just tastes like the happiest type of memory you could ever have. She just is like, oh, that hits the spot as always. And she walks towards the banister and looks down at the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for doing that unusual job for me. The favors that you owe, and she looks at the doctor specifically, the strange favors that you owe other gangrels in our city that you need to pay up on. Glad that person is very happy with their usual white tiger.
It was our
What is she
pleasure.
insinuating?
She's not insinuating it more towards you. She's more insinuating there's another gangrel in the city that was asking, like, wanted that tiger.
I
So
guess.
thanks for doing that weird job.
Yeah, our
Strange job.
pleasure.
Yeah.
My prince.
Perfectly fine. Yeah.
It
I mean, you did it
who
with
was
flying
this?
colors. I don't even know how the three of you were able to do that, to be honest.
was a pleasure. It was so much fun. It was making two friends and also stealing a tiger is what that was.
She, as you're talking like that, again, much to Brigitte's annoyance, she takes a very long look at you.
Mhm.
She's like, you know, it's a little unusual to actually have one of your clan in the Camarilla.
Is that
Oh,
so?
To you specifically, yeah.
Oh.
Well, in this, I suppose, in this strange situation that we found ourselves in, my expertise was helpful. I guess I'm lucky to have found myself here, and
Do
have
a
not
fa-
made an enemy of you, I suppose.
Oh, trust me, if you did, you would know. And she laughs in a way that's just unsettling. She looks at you very intently, though, is like, I shouldn't ask this as it's a little rude, but I am very much curious. Do you mind doing an illusion for me? I've never seen one in person.
Oh gosh. I need to figure out what I'd want to do. I haven't.
She looks at you very intently and says, preferably no fake flames. We don't need to frenzy.
No. Oh, I know. I will point her direction back towards the painting that she was looking at.
Yep.
And I will try to. I'm going to assume that there's some kind of like foliage in it, and I try
Yeah.
to make it look like the picture is moving. Almost like,
Oh,
breeze
I
going
love
through the
that.
trees. If there's a person in it, maybe they're running around. Um, kind of just bringing the painting to life, and um, also just narrating what she thinks is happening in the picture as well.
So, can you roll
Mhm.
manipulation plus composure? And this is where things get interesting. I'm not going to give you a difficulty because I also have a particular role I need to do
Um,
to see if you succeed. So it'd be, oh, actually, correction. So
I was gonna say both those are
click on
attributes.
manipulation.
Mhm.
Don't add anything to it.
Okay.
And when it asks for your modifier, add
Mhm.
2.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
And what was the
Apologies.
difficulty? Oh, no difficulty?
I'm not going
Or
to tell you difficulty because I'm actually going to roll to see if
okay.
they actually see it or not.
Oh, I don't think I did that right.
That's cool. I'll check.
Um,
No worries. It's learning new things is always fun.
actually, it didn't even roll?
Oh, that didn't even roll. That's weird. Let
Okay,
me
so
try.
manipulation,
Yep.
no second attribute,
No second attribute. Add 2 dice for
add
modifier,
2
and then let's
dice.
see if it works. And if not, I will.
Should I just do 0 for the difficulty?
Yep. Just do 0. There you go. 1.
There we
Okay.
go.
Give me
Okay.
1 second because I have something I need to roll because
Okay.
I forgot how to do things for a second. Do. Give me 1. Oh God. It's a okay. You know what? I'll be nice.
Yay.
She lets her guard down in a way that isn't visually visible, but she's looking, and she's actually now got a big smile on her face as she walks forward. And she actually puts her hand up to almost try to touch the painting. She's like, that's very impressive. I've never seen that before. She just turns around at you and gives you the biggest smile. Thank you for doing that. Apologies to forcing it. Just There's not a lot of your clan in Boston.
Well, I'd like to think that hopefully one day I'll be able to find a few more of us, but at this point, I guess I'm honored to be able to give you a one-of-a-kind experience.
She gives you a slight head nod, and she looks at the doctor, saying, "How goes your clinic? And especially this very obedient good boy." She gives a small head pat to Duke.
Staying busy, but you know.
She gives you a very thorough up and down look. It's like, "I'm very glad to see you adhered to the dress code." And she laughs out loud. "I'm not personally bothered by it. I know the Toreadors will, but you're perfectly fine as you are. Don't worry about it. If they give you any trouble, let me know."
Oh. All right. Sorry. I did just come like straight after work. But
Totally
glad
understand.
glad this is fine. Is it fine? This is game question. Is it fine?
It's technically you're at what could best be described as a very formal event, so not really, but at the same time, if the prince is saying, "If anyone tries to give you trouble, let me know," that clearly means you're in the clear, and if anyone tries to cause problems, they're probably going to have a really stern talking to.
Have a bad night.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not. He's not getting
Yeah.
any sort of like weird read on the prince.
"Oh no, you're perfect." And she gives you this look, it's like, "No, you're fine. Don't worry about your outfit, but if anyone gives you trouble, please let me know. And I will make their evening so much more delightful."
Good to hear. Is that the edgy homo?
And then she looks at you, Devin. It's like,
Mhm.
"How goes your Tremere studies in our city?"
Good. I'm currently researching a new branch of blood magic, and I'm actually looking at
Oh.
a little bit more of technology, seeing if I can merge the two. But it would be more interesting to make a sunproof suit for some of the mythic vampires.
I mean, that would be nice, considering we can't really walk around during the day, unless you're one of the thin bloods in the city, or duskborn as they call themselves. They can apparently walk around in the daylight, which is
Right.
Gasp.
massive privilege. She also takes a second to lean into you, Devin. It's like, "I do know if you talk to," she points her out, "Josephine down there. She knows quite a few interesting blood magic tricks. I swear at one point I saw her trying to do telekinesis."
I feel like it can be done.
Yeah, she
Maybe
broke
not
a. Okay.
Oh, I said maybe not with like just blood, but maybe plasma. It's thinner.
I mean, as long as she stops breaking vases, that was really annoying. I liked that last one.
Well, I
It was
mean, to make
expensive.
an omelet, you must break a few vases.
And she gives you this look for 5 seconds before she laughs out loud. It's like, "Okay, you know what? Fair point. I can get a new one anyways." And it's at that point an unusual thing happens.
Mhm.
So her phone rings. And the thing with phones,
Gasp.
just to be upfront about this, Camarilla has very strict tech things. They
Mhm.
usually kind of frown upon cell phones. Part of that is not to get too deep into lore because I don't want to overload people. Hunters are a thing. They do use tech to kind of track you, or can track you through your phones. So you can still have a cell phone, but more often than not, much older vampires don't really use cell phones anymore. If they're in the Camarilla, they see it as a security breach. Hazel, however, pulls one out and just looks at you, the three of you, is like, "I'm so sorry. Just give me 1 second." And you can see her walk off. And as a reminder, Lydia is still with you.
Mhm.
You're kind of in this situation where there's two ways to leave this one hallway. She's blocking one of the ways as she stands at attention, waiting to see if the prince says anything, while the prince goes the opposite direction. but you can clear as day hear her say, "Yes, I was not expecting a phone call from you this evening. This is really not great timing. I'm sorry, you want me to do what?" "No, I won't question you at all. Okay, I will do as you say. I don't want to annoy you." And she turns around and just looks at the three of you. And she's like holding the phone like this to try and muffle it. Or actually, no, she puts it on mute for a second.
Mhm.
"I don't know what this is about, but whatever you do, please be on your best behavior."
Hmm.
And she unmutes it. It's like, "Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. You're on speakerphone." And a voice pierces through that phone that just sends shivers down your spines, and you have no idea why. But it's that type of voice that's just, it's both unsettling and yet it's the most captivating thing in that small space you're in as it grabs everyone's attention. "Good evening. I presume I am addressing tonight's honored guests. If you don't mind, please state your names and clans. While I trust our prince to confirm your identities, I want to hear it straight from the source."
Devin Clan Tremere.
And this is Brigitte LaRue of the Clan Ravnos.
And Dr. Pat Robinson, Clan Gangrel.
You even hear the prince say out loud, "Just for formality's sake, because I know you love doing this to me, Hazel Iverson, Prince of Boston." And then behind you, you can hear Lydia say very loudly, as she's a little bit farther away, but she can apparently still hear this phone, "Lydia Cook, Deputy to the Sheriff, La Sombra."
Ooh.
And the voice on the phone that you heard a second ago is like quiet for about 10 seconds. It's like, "Thank you. You can never be sure who you are talking to in these nights. I know that tonight is a celebration, as it were, for the three of you, which first let me say congratulations and welcome. However, my dear prince, is this airtight? No one else can hear us?" And she just looks at the phone like, "Yeah, there's no one else on this floor. If they can hear us, I would probably have them escorted out of here." Like, good. The three of you, I know this is a party, but I have a job that you need to do right now in this very setting. Have I made myself clear?
At the museum.
Yes, right
Okay.
here.
Yes.
Happy to help.
We have reports. Someone at your little soiree, as it were, is not who they say they are. We believe someone is a turncoat, as it were, as we've had reports of multiple hunters in your city that should not be there. And I personally would love you to find out who it is and bring them before your prince to be dealt with.
Hmm.
If you succeed on this, two things. Your preliminary access will be complete access. You will be welcomed with open arms. And whether your prince likes to hear this or not, your prince will owe you an immense boon. And because I know you are all so very new at this, by that I mean she will owe you a favor, and it will be whatever they need to do to make it happen.
After
Prince
he
looks
says that,
horrified by this, by the
I was
way.
gonna say I literally wanted to look at the prince and see like what the facial reaction
If
was.
she could get any paler, she did. She's like, Miss Fiorenzo, that's a little. No, none of that, Miss Iverson. You will do what I say as your elder. To which the prince shuts up. Now, I don't know if they are kindred I don't know if they are, to use such a vulgar term, I don't know if they're mortal. Find out who it is and bring them before your prince. Any questions?
Do you
What?
have any leads?
Yeah, what tipped you off?
Your city's lovely deputy, who Iverson looks at Lydia, brought a hunter in a few days ago, and they told us after, let's just say, a pleasant form of interrogation, that Boston has more rats in it than we would like, and we'd like to have them dealt with, because any security breaches, well, I don't need to go further than that, do I?
No.
In terms of what I think you might be looking for, again, I am not sure if they are one of us or not, but keep your eyes and ears open for any weird way to put it, any funny business.
Brigitte will kind of speak up, like her voice will like quaver for a second, but she'll basically say, "We'll try our best to serve you well," and kind of like awkwardly at the end tag on like your greatness, like not really sure how the ranking works, but like just
I
like
feel like it would
as
be
a little
great elder.
flourish at the end.
She pauses for a second as you say that, and just like, thank you. Any other
welcome.
questions, comments? I love concerns, but that doesn't mean I will answer them.
No, it's just find the turncoat.
Again, if anything looks strange, which I get it, you are at a party with all of us, but if anything looks more peculiar than that, please snuff it out and
Right.
bring it before your prince, before the night is through.
Will do. Understood.
Okay.
And she finishes the call in a very awkward sentence. Excellent. Tick tock goes the clock, and the phone hangs up.
TikTok goes the clock.
Does this sort of thing happen often? Not getting a call from.
The prince puts the phone away, and as you ask that, they just put their hands over their head as if they just experienced the worst thing ever. It's like, no, that does not normally happen. And the fact that she's saying there is a security breach is an alarming thing that we need to take care of right now. And by that, I mean the three of you are going to take care of this.
Yep.
My question was more of what would make a kindred turn
Oh,
working for
betray.
hunters?
Oh, betray. In our organization, power speaks volumes. This could be a power play from someone. This could also be someone very stupid and not knowing what they're dealing with. For me, I know there are people who don't like that I'm in a position of power, so I would take this as someone maybe was tipped off, is trying to do something to remove me, which, when she says that, you notice there's another figure that walks in and just doesn't say anything. They stay on the other end, opposite where Lydia's standing, and they're in like a white button shirt with just suspenders draped over. It's like, but anyone, and then she continues talking, but if anyone even tried doing something to me, they would have to answer to my bodyguard, who would greatly make sure they get thrown out of the building, or worse.
Present company excluded. Is there anybody who would be stupid enough to try?
Well, and she doesn't finish that sentence as she's looking over the banister, and her face just kind of gives this agaped look as two people enter. And you can't really tell what they look like from your vantage point, but one is clearly bathed in black and the other is clearly bathed in red. And she just stands up, has this extremely annoyed look on her face, and looks at the three of you. It's like, I'm giving, okay, The only one I could think of would be one of those two that just entered. And I'm also now adding an assignment onto your task, which is I want to know, and she points specifically to the two that entered, I want to know why they are here as well. I don't care how you find that information out. I don't care if they even come up to me to tell me. I want you to find out why those two are here as well, as they were not on my guest list.
Could I ask who they are?
Give me a charisma plus persuasion plus charisma roll. Difficulty of 2. Sorry, I sang that.
It's okay.
Ooh.
2 successes.
Hey, you got it. She looks at you.
Oh, I got a fang thing.
No, if you got the success thing, this thing. So Roll20
no.
sometimes is a little funny with how it reads these. You are fine.
Right. Okay.
Oh, you got that thing. Nope. So you're good. So if that best way to describe it, I know we're streaming this and not showing these, but for my players,
Right.
if the one below it got 2 stars, that would have been a critical.
Gotcha.
And criticals are always interesting because if you get 2 pairs of what would be 2 10s, it actually is not 2 successes, it becomes 4 successes. So it's this weird thing where sometimes you can get literal exploding dice that make rolls far bigger than you realize. For this though, she looks at you and is like, oh right, you probably don't know everyone. And she goes back to leaning over the banister, and it's this type of thing where it's like she's inviting the 3 of you to do the same thing she's doing by looking over.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, she points to the one in black. She is not a herald of my city, but she is a herald of New York. I don't know why she's here. As for her, and she says it in the most disgusted possible tone imaginable.
That's the one that she thinks will hurt her.
That is an annoyance that I would like to know why they are here, as they are not part of my Camarilla. They are, last I remember, an independent, and I don't like their kind in my space. Her name is Dinah.
No, what was the
I
first
want to know
one's name
why.
again?
The first, apologies. She points to one in black, and she actually has a smile on her face when she says it. That is Marceline. Or Miss Moreau, if you so choose. She is not on my guest list, so I'm intrigued to know why someone from New York is here.
Oh.
By any means necessary, find out this information and find out who the hell is our turncoat, and I will begrudgingly, according to our lovely Fiorenza, owe you a boon. And that can be used for pretty much anything. She says in a very much like,
I'm trying to just like hide a smile of like, ooh,
Yeah.
we're gonna be owed by someone big.
And with that, I think that's the perfect place to take a break.
Okay.
So it's 10-minute break. Let's do that.
All right.
Perfect.
Sweet. We'll be back. And welcome back. So, as we left off before the break, you have a really weird assignment, which is, well, you have 2 assignments technically. One is from someone who's more higher up than the Prince of Boston, which that's terrifying. Someone at this party is not who they say they are. You need to figure out who they are. They apparently have ties with hunters in the city, which is code red bad. And then the other is a more unusual personal problem that the prince seems to have, which is 2 people who entered that were not invited. One named Marceline Moreau, who apparently is from New York and is a messenger of sorts in New York City. And then her friend Dinah, who the prince, in particular, when they said that name, was with the most disgusted sort of verbiage possible out of their mouth. Because apparently they are independent in the city, as it were, which in terms would mean they are not Camarilla, they are an anarch. That said, though, when you look at them, from even that vantage, it looks like they're very well dressed.
Question.
Yes.
Everybody in here, nobody's mortal, right?
I would say you're not sure of that. I can have you give a roll when you get back on the floor to where everyone is if you'd like. But I would say you're not 100% sure because the thing is with this, there's about 24 people in the room. I would say you're not actually entirely sure how many kindred are in the city. So there's a possibility this could be a mingling of both vampires and mortals. Now, when I say mortals, that could also mean many other things, which is none of you need to roll for this because I feel like that's silly to ask this. Some mortals, if they're in a situation like this, they could technically be bonded to a vampire. So that it's kind of like, because I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows lately, like they're familiars,
Mhm.
their personal, like living familiar. Yeah. So you're not sure if that might be a thing going on here. It's a high possibility. So it
Someone's
could
got
be
an
both.
Igor.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Just as we do make our way down there, I'm just gonna. All right, dude. Listen.
Mhm.
If you smell somebody who ain't like us, I need you to let me know. All right. Good boy.
I love that so much. Can you? Because I'm now curious on that. Can you give me? This is the weirdest thing I will ever ask in any game possible. Animal kin plus charisma.
I will do you one better. I will use
And I would
Thorough
say, do you have a
Whispers.
specialty in yeah, and you have a specialty. So when you get to modifier, add 1. So you should have 6 dice.
Okay, so would it be animal kin or would it be
Animal kin.
manipulation and or charisma and animalism?
So animal kin and then charisma.
And then you add like 1 die or something.
And then you can add a die because you have a specialty in it. Because
Right.
that'll always give you advantage because your specialty is dogs.
Difficulty 2.
Difficulty of 2. Yeah, let's keep it nice and simple.
3.
3. Ignore what it says on that because that's information it's saying is wrong. You got 2 successes.
Failure.
You were fine. You're fine. Duke just looks at you and gives you that very, very outspoken.
Good boy.
As you walk away from where the prince is, as you do, they kind of look back for a second, and then they're just looking over the balcony, like the banister, down at everyone, and they're just looking down, and they're still got a drink in their hand, or they got a new one, and it's swirling around. As you leave, Lydia actually kind of blocks your path from going forward and just looks at the 3 of you.
Pardon.
Hi, I most because the prince probably already knows. I heard all that. So if you need any help, let me know. I'll have my eyes as best as I can open to everything. But this is your show. I will take point when you tell me to.
Does she seem sincere?
100%. No roll needed on that. She is being 100% genuine with you.
Well, thank you.
Sounds good. We'll holler.
You probably know the situation better than we do, so any help that you can offer us is appreciated.
No problem. I will. And she just looks. She looks for the most. This is going to sound weird. She finds she starts walking towards it, the most shadowed sort of corner that's nearby. Just like, don't worry, I'll have eyes and ears everywhere. And then she walks into the shadow, and then the shadow dissipates, and she's no longer there. She's gone.
Nice. It's a classy exit.
And what's interesting is you look at that, and then you look back at the banister, and you look down. She's already on the first floor.
Okay.
What the fuck did she do in the shadows?
Teleportation.
And what's interesting is when you look where she is, she's made her placement right by the person in red that the prince pointed out.
Well, I guess she's getting a head start on
Right.
I would say it doesn't look like she's talking to them, though. It's like she's 10 feet away, kind of just watching the situation.
Is she so she can kind of disappear and reappear. Is there any way that she is still technically like guarded, kind of? Like, is she like she's fully visible?
Oh, she's fully visible.
Okay.
It's basically she walked into a shadow and appeared to have just walked out of another and is on the first floor.
Okay. So her power and my power are not the same then. Okay.
I mean, if you want, I can let you do an intelligence plus occult roll. if you want to figure out if you might know more than you do, or more that you think is the better way to put it. I would say difficulty of that would be a 3.
I'm curious. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
You said
Curiosity is
intelligence
always a good thing.
with a 3.
Yep. So
Difficulty?
yep, it would be occult plus intelligence difficulty 3.
Okay. I don't figure it out. No clue.
All good. It's one of those things where again you're just sitting there like that's really impressive, but also, huh?
How did she do that? Bamboozled.
Oh, could I do a
Yeah,
roll?
you can all do that if you want. If you all want to do that, it's occult plus intelligence difficulty 3.
Okay, and does it have anything to do with blood magic?
No, sadly not.
Okay,
Though that would be cool.
yeah. So occult
Good old
plus
Tremere.
intelligence. No extra dice. Difficulty 3. You said.
Difficulty 3. Yep, 3. Oh,
Ooh.
oh
Or
wow!
successes.
Hey,
You know a lot of things.
successes. Always good job.
I have a lot of blood magic.
Unlike our Ravnos, who maybe this is their first time seeing one of these, our Tremere Devon, you've done enough research. I mean, Tremere's, that's your forte. Research, understanding things. That's a Tremere. That's the most typical Tremere I've ever heard of, but also that's true. You know immediately what you heard them say it out loud. Lydia Cook, deputy to the sheriff, La Sombra, and La Sombra just rings in your head because you know that their nickname is they are known as shadow dancers. They can manipulate shadows and bend them to their will.
Gotcha.
I will also say, because you got one more success than the difficulty was, I'll give you an extra thing. You also kind of know, and you think about this really hard till it hits you. You're like, oh yeah, they're also kind of a massive masquerade breach. Like they're a walking masquerade breach. And what I mean by that is you see where Lydia is, and even from your vantage point, you can see this. There is sort of a shiny reflective surface, and it's kind of reflecting all these other people. Lydia casts no reflection. There is no reflection anywhere by her that she is casting any sort of image on.
Right. So I just explained to the group that it's because of the clan that she could walk through shadows.
The fact that I couldn't even remember that, and I was just like, I have no clue. Literally told it's a clan. I don't know.
No, you're fine. No worries.
I don't know anything about the clan, so to be fair.
No, you're fine.
I mean, to be fair though, if I was a vampire and I had a clan and I wasn't a Tremere, I probably wouldn't know about the other clans.
That's fair. Actually, yeah, Ravnos really don't. I don't think they really are the type to mingle with other clans that much.
The Sombra isn't even in the core book, so.
Yep, I know. That's also the mean thing.
I have looked at the companion book too for Ravnos, so
yeah,
I have notes.
I would say for our Doctor and Devon, though, you know in particular with Ravnos, they, from what you've learned from others who have told you, because you've probably mentioned that you met one. It's probably the best way to put it. Depending on like who you've interacted with, who's also kindred. They've all mentioned that a Ravnos in the city is actually really fascinating, as they are considered a very rare sight in these nights.
I'm elusive.
Yeah. They are not a very common clan that you see during these modern nights at all.
Which was why such a interesting case as collecting a rare tiger from a zoo, required my expertise. Because, you know, rare task, rare gal.
Well, you do illusions, so we had to hide the tiger somehow.
You were riding through town, but I was making it look like you're riding a horse, which is probably a little bit more normal in the streets of Boston.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love that so much.
I'm
gonna be thinking about Tiger King all weekend.
Hang on, we have now made a new story. I was dressed as Paul Revere.
So I'm going down to the floor. I would like to talk to people.
Sorry.
Sorry. Doctor, you lead the charge. Do the others follow?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. When you get to the floor again, there's this weird feeling, as I mentioned when you first walked into the space, as if eyes are watching you, and yet it doesn't look that way. It's just this weird feeling at the back of your mind where it's like you can't shake it. The people you see in front of you, as Journey pointed out, you see Journey, who is talking still to Zoe. They're no longer being loud. Zoe again, this person, white outfit, not a drop of red on them. It's kind of impeccable that still is a thing. You see the Nosferatu I mentioned, who you're not really I mean, like, the best way to describe them, because it's kind of a touchy subject. Yes, the person looks terrifying, but they also look like the most sincere person in the room out of anyone else there. And you're not sure if that's just a cover up or they're actually being genuine. Again, you see Lydia, who is like 10 feet away from the two people who walked in, and she's not approaching. And you're not really sure why. But you see the woman in black, the woman in red. You also see the person who was pointed out to you that Journey mentioned named April. And then you also see a couple other people you've not been introduced to or heard their names. And you see two servers making their way rapidly around the room still.
Mm.
Which also begs the question, where the hell are they getting that much to drink to serve?
There's humans somewhere.
I do not see it.
It's Sweeney Todd Sweeney Todd's in the back.
Oh, jeez.
Just
Sweeney Todd's
mean-
actually a vampire.
I mean, it
And
would
that
make
checks
so much
out.
sense.
They would.
Sondheim is a vampire. There we go. We confirmed it.
He would be. There was a flaw. It was like an organo something.
No. But I would say for the doctor, the two people who entered the space are probably the closest to you, followed by the Nosferatu and then Journey.
Okay. They're closest to me. Okay.
Yep.
The plan was to like talk to a couple of people across the room and then get to them, but if they're the first people.
Yeah.
So I don't recognize y'all. How y'all doing?
So you just walk straight up and awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I mean if they're the first people that have come out.
No, it's cool.
Come out and say,
What you
yeah.
see for a better visual description, the person in black, long, very well done brunette hair, like goes past their shoulders. They have on it's strange because you're like, it's like 2022. Didn't this kind of go out of fashion in the 90s? This sort of couture looking black trench coat of sorts that's just, it's not punk, it's very couture. Is probably the best way to put it. Very fashion forward. They have on like a black sort of V-neck style dress underneath, very nice heels. Their friend, it's the most, even for you, even for anyone who's not a Toreador, it's the most stunning red dress you've ever seen in your life. It's past the kneecaps. It's almost like floor length. It billows out at the waist. It's got applique lacing on the top. Their hair, extremely red, like redder than their dress. And it's the type of thing where you're like, is that natural? Because I don't believe that's natural. But at the same time, that's impressive. They have a very 1950s hairstyle done up right now. And they have crimson lips and very, very, very beautiful makeup on. They look like they stepped out of a 1950s like fashion shoot.
And I stepped out of the graveyard shift. How y'all doing?
And that's when you realize when you step in, they're talking with like four other people, and the four other people who are not them, they all give you this look of like, oh my god, are you actually wearing scrubs? And then the other two, though, they don't give you that look at all. They very much see you. They see Duke, and their face lights up where they're like, oh, and they're like, you don't mind if we, and they just point at Duke.
Go ahead. He's a good boy.
And they just look at the other people like, by all means, it's a pleasure to see you again, but I haven't been able to do this in so long. And they just give Duke the biggest amount of pets.
They found the dog at the party.
Yeah, they are literally that person. I love that. And the woman in black, who you heard, her name was Marceline. She stops. It's like, oh, thank you. And she says this because I'm not going to do it correctly because my accents are horrible. She says this in a very French dialect, which would be, oh, thank you so much. I don't really get to interact with animals all that much, but thank you.
I haven't met most of y'all before, but I mean, I guess that's what this whole thing was about.
I mean, it's always the best time to meet new people. And she says that with an extremely big smile.
Dr. Pat Robinson.
Oh, a doctor. And she puts her hand out like, that, like, ooh, enchanté. Marceline Moreau, New York City, and I work under the prince there.
Oh, I thought this was just supposed to be like the Boston folks, but what brings you down? It's not just for
Official.
this, huh?
I mean, I love a good party more than anything, but this is a business call. And she looks at her friend, who's the one dressed in red, when she says that.
Something to do with your friend?
Um, she doesn't, for some reason, the one in red I mentioned, named Dinah, she doesn't interact with you yet. She's still having a conversation with the other four. It's not like she's
Mhm.
trying to be, she's being rude or anything. It's more there was clearly a conversation going on before, and they're
Right,
trying to
obviously.
just communicate. When you look at them, though, it's funny. Like the prince gave you this very much an opinion of this person's, ugh, and yet the person you're kind of seeing before you clearly wants to be the center of the room and has people enjoying their space so much.
I mean,
Like their
I
presence is
also,
welcome.
yeah,
Yeah.
somebody who drags attention from everybody. Got it. I see why the prince doesn't like this person.
Do you say that out loud?
No.
Oh, that would have been great. Just double checking. For the doctor, again, this woman named Marceline, she's having a nice conversation. She's not being rude. She's being as friendly as possible. She's like, yes, I know I wasn't on the guest list, but this is one of those time to make a house call situation. And sadly, no one was that I knew of was at the tower, as it were. So I figured, well, and she again points to her friend. She knew there was a party going on, so we figured, why not show up and just pronounce it here?
Is she in some sort of trouble?
Not necessarily.
Anything we can do to make your time a little bit less busy, let you kick back a little bit? Apparently, we're very useful people.
Our prince
Give
even owes us a
me.
favor.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say give me a die roll, but when you say that, it's like, ooh, the prince owes you a favor.
Eventually.
Oh, should we be going around telling people that?
No.
It is wordplay at the end.
Mm.
Also, is Brigitte in this situation as well?
No, she is not.
I thought we all followed.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I was actually gonna say, after we were watching Lydia with her work in the shadows, I was gonna I wasn't sure if both of you were going or just one of you, but I was gonna make a little side comment of she's not the only one who can play in the shadows. And then I am going to try to use my ability, Cloak of Shadows, I believe it's called.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's free of charge.
Okay. Yeah, so what I was thinking is I know in museums a lot of times there will be little pieces of art on a pillar. Just one of those tiny ones is probably about waist height, but it's just a little thing that you can go up to. So I was thinking about using that as cover and kind of leaning down almost to readjust the strap on the heel that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And then try to use my ability, but also I'm thinking kind of use it in an area that seems like it has a decent amount of people so I can kind of listen to a few different tidbits of conversations. So if neither of you are around to hear my comment about me being in the shadows, then I just disappear.
And you do just that. You find a perfect corner, as you mentioned, that is also very well within earshot of almost every conversation. Somewhat. Not the one that Doctor and Devin are at.
Well,
You
they
can't hear
can
what's
tell me
going on
about
with
that
that.
conversation later.
Yeah, but it's all the other ones that are more gathered at the other end.
Mhm.
And again, there is no dice roll needed. You do exactly that. Okay.
Could I amend my statement to different
Sure.
words? Okay.
Yeah.
The prince will soon owe us a favor.
She's still very interested by that.
Right. But I would still I just like to be confirmed.
Yeah, no problem. For Brigitte, you with Cloak of Shadows, it's very much you stand in place and you just blend in with your surroundings. So when you do exactly as you said, no one sees you. You're gone.
Cool.
You are one with, this sounds so corny, you are one with the museum. But no one sees you because you are completely gone out of the
Cool.
space. What I will have you do is
Mhm.
give me, oh God, that's a good roll, actually. I need to think about this. Because if you're going to just sit there and stand there and listen, let me see. Give me, ooh, I will, no, I'm going to allow you to pick whichever one
Okay.
is higher. It is either, it's no matter what, you're going to be rolling with composure. It's either going to be, oh God, I just lost it. Either going to be etiquette
Ooh.
or awareness.
I'm
Whichever
gonna
one you
go with
think makes the
etiquette
most sense.
because etiquette is at a 3.
Okay,
And you
yeah,
said with composure?
yep. And
Cool.
then, do you have anything with etiquette? Nope. Yep. So just those two as they are. I would say difficulty of 3.
Okay.
Oh, you got it. Nice. Okay. You look out in the room, and again, you're as still as can be, taking everything in. And it's even what's funny about it is too is when you do fade away, as it were, or blend in, no one seems to notice that that happens at all. So you've done it in a way where no one notices you're gone. The other two, you're having a lovely conversation with these two, clearly. But for Brigitte, you look out and then you just take a second to tune your hearing and just listen in. And you hear stuff along the lines of like just normal conversation of like, oh, it's been a while since I've seen you. How have you been? How goes the business? How is the blah, 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 blah. What catches your interest though is two different things. One is the servers. They are very quiet. And the other is there's like two kindred talking, or what, maybe two kindred, maybe immortal, you're never sure, but there's another group of just two people talking, and their conversation is just along the lines of everything for some reason feels very tense. And then the other person's like, shh, don't say more than that. I mean, don't want to make people feel on edge. You also notice when as they point the servers out, they also leave the room, and you're not really sure where they're getting the blood, but they seem to be going to refill everyone's glasses.
So the thing is with the servers, part of me almost wants to say that the servers usually like like in real life, I feel like I don't usually have like conversations with servers. Like if I'm at a wedding or something like that, a lot of times they just like say what they have on their platter and then like walk away. So is
No,
that normal for something like this? Is that kind of weird that they're so quiet? Like are they not
I'm
making
gonna go off
conversation at all? Not even like just, a general greeting of like, "Oh, can I get you anything?"
based off the three successes you got, because I just would like to go with that roll to make it
Mhm.
easier. You also notice anytime they make eye contact, it's almost like they're trying to communicate something quietly.
Huh. Well, if that's the case, then I think the first thing I wanna do is, how close am I to the kindreds that were talking about how things felt tense?
They're about 10, 15 feet away. You had
Okay,
very good hearing on it.
okay. Um, I almost want to, like, very casually, like, when one of them is like, "Shh, you don't wanna make things any more tense," I almost wanna just breezily approach them and, um, say, "I hope I'm not interrupting anything, but I heard you say something about tense, and I'm kind of thinking the same thing, but I was wondering if you guys knew what that was."
The two people you see in front of you, one of them's dressed in a nice sort of business suit.
Mhm.
Uh, Not really sure of their gender.
Okay.
The other person, very much dressed to the T, like they are in the prime of their life in terms of their environment. Clear in your head, you're like, oh, Toreador. The only ones who would go over the top dress wise. And they just look at you for a second, like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, things feel weirdly tense. Don't you feel it? It's kind of in the air. Like, everyone feels a little on edge for some reason.
I'll feign a little bit of innocence and be like, I haven't been to too many of these parties just yet, so I don't know exactly how these usually go, but I was I kind of have that feeling too. Do you know what it is that seems off. I'm not. It seems like you two might be a little bit more familiar with the. She's almost kind of like doing this like a little gossipy, like, "Ooh, what are we talking about?" Kind of like that's the vibe she's giving off. Just to kind of, like it's a party. Um, and kind of just saying if there was like asking if there's anything that kind of seems like it might be, because she like wants to know the gossip. She wants to know what's happening. She's not accustomed to everything just yet.
The one in the suit looks at the other ones like, I mean, let's be nice. I know, and they're looking at you just kind of like, yeah, we can talk about this, I guess. It's like, well, I know one, our esteemed guest apparently this evening. Welcome. They both give you a slight head nod, and they even look at the other two, and they give a. The other two wouldn't notice this because their eyes are gazed more towards the two in front of them, but they give like this slight tip of the class to the two of you if you were to look. Well, there are rumors, though we've not had them confirmed, because and they look up at the second floor because our prince doesn't seem to want to tell us anything. There are rumors that there might have been a hunter in the city. We're not sure if that's actually true or not, but everyone seems to be on edge, especially as someone has been missing for the past week or two that the prince can't seem to find.
Um, I I'll just kind of ask, um first of all, she'll kind of make a joke of like, "Oh, is it that obvious that I'm that new, that I'm just the first time?" Um, but she'll say something along the lines of, kind of just asking like, "Wait, you heard something about a hunter? Who did you hear that from? That's terrifying."
The very fancy one, who's dressed very well, just gives a very slight smile. It's like, well, you didn't hear it from me. But
Mm,
my Tremere friend, Raven, apparently claimed they were in the tower and saw someone being escorted up to the prince that clear as day was not one of us.
okay.
They very clearly had full on military garb on.
Okay. I'll almost kind of say, "Your secret's safe with me. I'm so sorry. I heard you guys talking about something being tense. I feel it too, and that I'm I feel a lot better kind of knowing what might be going on, just so I understand and can maneuver the room now."
Nope, no. The one in the suit says, no problem. We're still fairly new to this as well. All good.
Well, it
That's when
seems
they
like you're
look at
doing much better than I am, so.
we've had our own experience with our lovely prince, so you're not the first. Don't worry about it. That's when they look at where Marceline and Dinah are, and you can hear, well, because you're in earshot anyways,
Mhm.
the one in the suit just says, Amelia, she's here. And the one named Amelia then looks at her friend like, yes, I know, Cassandra, I really don't want to say hi to Dinah. To which we will go back to where the Doc and Devon are.
Mhm.
The lady in red, Dinah, finishes her conversation with the other four and then turns to your direction and gives you a very small smile and extends a hand out and says, pleasure to meet you. Dinah Brand, Toreador.
Oh, Dr. Robinson,
Oh, a doctor.
gangrel. I
Mhm.
that's the word, right? Gangrel.
Yeah.
She actually gives you a very big smile when you say gangrel. It says, it's actually not common to see a lot of you in the Camarilla. Intriguing.
I mean, I've been around 50 years before anybody invited me to one of these, so couldn't imagine why.
She gives
Anyway,
you a very slight head nod when you say that. It's like, well, pleasure to meet you. And she looks at you, Devon. Dinah
Devin.
Brand. Oh.
Devin. Clan Tremere.
Oh, I do love a good blood sorcerer. And she says that with a very big smile.
Oh, and why is that?
I've learned quite a few nifty little rituals from you.
Oh, well, ritual is always very good to have on hand.
Oh, especially when one of them lets you climb on walls, and she laughs out loud.
Oh yeah, no, that one's definitely good. I couldn't. I did not take that one. I took the
Oh,
one. I took the one that lets you go to bed during the day and wake
I've heard
up.
that's quite useful.
Yes,
I
it
mean,
wakes you up when anybody comes into the circle around your boundary.
oh, good detection, safety net. I appreciate that. I mean, if you ever want to learn literally walking on walls, I know quite the few people that in this city that can help you with that.
I will potentially take you up on that offer.
She actually looks around the room and then just once again, much like someone else did in the room, I think it was the prince, just points at the woman that was named, Journey did actually,
Hmm.
but named Josephine, and says, Josephine can easily help you with that. That girl and her bloody book are a wealth of knowledge. And again, she's still holding on to this ridiculously large grimoire that has not left her arm.
Right. Okay.
Dinah,
Yes.
Miss Moreau was just telling us y'all were in town for some sort of business. We were
Oh,
asking if
yes.
y'all needed any sort of help
Assistance.
getting that done. Make your time here a little bit easier.
Well, aren't you so polite to offer someone assistance? Yes, is the prince around?
Yes.
She is. I don't know. We can bring you up to her. I don't know.
I don't know that we can do that.
But
Now I'm curious. Do I want to do this? Maybe. Give me 1 second, because one of you has something, and I'm gonna
Oh,
probably mess with it for a second. Sorry.
interesting. Oh.
Not really. Sorry, but
um.
there
but
we go.
we can point you to the people who
Can both of you give me a composure plus intelligence roll? And there's no difficulty. Just tell me how many successes you get, because I'm gonna make a roll as well.
Composure and
Yeah.
intelligence.
So intelligence. Yep. So yeah, it's gonna sound weird, but you're gonna do 2 attributes.
Mhm.
So yeah, sometimes that does happen.
No
I
extra
have
dice.
no extra dice. I will just say I'm rolling quite a bit of dice.
So 0.
1 success.
I got a messy critical somehow.
Ooh,
But I got
all
0
successes.
successes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I put it as 0.
no, so you're good. So don't worry about if it says bestial or messy crit.
Yeah.
You're good. This was I had my own personal roll.
Mhm.
You, for some reason, when you're both looking at her, she has this weird presence thing where you just feel so happy to be in her her space.
Damn it.
You're not sure if it's natural or supernatural. Not that I rolled a lot of good successes, but you feel this weird compellingness to just be in their space as they say, "Oh, why don't you? It would be so nice to be escorted to the prince if you don't mind. I wouldn't mind having a nice, lovely 2 people I just met to bring me upstairs to meet her."
Well, all right then.
You notice Duke is even like the tail wagging immense.
Yeah.
Walking her up. Both of them.
Yep.
Marceline just looks at her, just like, "Are you for real right now?"
Where
And
am I
going
in the
back to Brigitte.
conversation when all of a sudden I see them walking
Oh,
up
you
the stairs?
100% just see. No, you 100% start seeing that they go upstairs. It's just starting to happen.
I
And the 2 people you were just talking with, they both look at you like as you're having that moment of just like, what the, and they both start laughing for a second. Like, I'm sorry, it's just we've had that done to us before by Dinah. She has a way with
it's
swaying people.
that you know, I was wondering why all of a sudden they were being so nice and bringing her up. That must be huh.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
And
surprised.
she'll kind of like almost distractedly just be like, "Well, then you understand why I have to go actually, is there before she'll like be like kind of disjointed train of thought because she's like, I want to go stop them, but like she'll ask, is there any way that if what they're under could get me too if I go to try to stop them?
Oh,
Is it
100%.
like a aura, or is it just kind of like a
It's
okay,
like this
so
weird cone of aura.
okay, so I don't approach.
I would probably leave her be, but also if she's going to see the prince, we will all be hearing it in a minute or two. Our prince does not like her at all.
And we
It's
don't
going to be a
sense
very vocal
anything
conversation. That'll be great to listen to.
Oh,
Yeah,
I almost
she looks at you too, like, do you know Dinah?
I haven't had the pleasure, but I almost from what I've heard so far, I'm not sure it would be one.
The one in the suit. They're the most like keep looking at them and they're so stern and like professional looking, and in your head you're probably just like, okay, Ventru. They just give you this look of like, yeah, Dinah's a Camarilla doesn't really like independence, like independent kindred in the area. So like you're if you're new at this, let me explain, I guess. Our prince, our lovely, annoying Ventru, when they have dominion, they don't just claim dominion here, they try to claim dominion statewide. Dinah doesn't live in Boston.
Right. I recall
Dinah lives
she's
in
a New Yorker.
yeah. Well, no, Dinah lives in Salem.
Oh, the other one was a New Yorker. Okay.
Yeah, Marceline, and
Marceline.
they say Marceline in the most genuine way. And her friend, when she says Marceline, it's fascinating. Her friend's face kind of blushes. Marceline is a wonderful, delightful kindred, and I highly recommend talking to her. She's amazing. But for
Um,
Dinah, yeah, she's a pain to the prince.
okay. As a vampire, am I able to detect whether she's like trying to force the blush or if it's something that's natural and maybe she's like like a young, I don't remember the
You would
word, like
know
a
in a weird
youngling.
way that for some reason just seems weirdly natural, and she's not trying to. There is a thing that all vampires can do where you can appear more human when
Yeah.
walking around. This weirdly doesn't seem like that. It just seems like the mention of the name just made them very happy, and it's very
Is
weird.
that's abnormal for a vampire?
You're not sure. I mean, it's one of those things where you're just like, that's strange that they just got that happy about a name, but huh.
Huh. Okay. I'm gonna make note of that.
To which you then notice at that point that that person whose name is Amelia, as I mentioned, they clearly are raising a glass, and the woman named Marceline does the same and gives a very polite wave back.
Okay.
And she's like, Cassandra, if you don't mind, I'll be back. And she starts walking away towards her. And what you see is they don't really say hello. They give each other a full-on hug.
Okay.
And then they both get drinks from a server who walks by, and now they're having a very deep conversation.
Okay.
That's also when you notice the servers leave the room again, and they kind of just give each other this knowing look back and
I'm
forth.
like I'm like, do I do this? Do I do that?
Oh yeah, it's okay.
Am I okay? I have a question about one of my abilities, and I just want to
Sure.
see if it's a possibility with chym chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry. Yep.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
Um, is it possible for me so it can use one of the senses. Is it possible for me to almost throw my voice to try to see if I can reach um Pat and Devin? Is that an ability that I'd be able to do as like a kind of make them
I would
hallucinate
say
my voice?
the way it reads, because I want to make sure those watching know this too. Uh, the way it reads is more like it seems to be more within the area you're in. I would say if you're going to throw your voice, everyone's going to hear it, not just Pat and Devin.
Right, okay. Okay. Um,
My best way of describing that would be like, in D&D thaumaturgy, be like that.
oh, I wish I knew. I started with D&D 2nd edition,
Oh,
so
sorry.
I
Oh
No,
am
you're good.
goodness.
It
I'm a
would just be
weirdo. I
more.
don't know most of
No, you're
5e,
good.
like
No, you're good. If you were to do what you said with your voice, everyone in the space would hear it. It would
yeah,
just be a
no,
loud
that
projection. It wouldn't be very specifically geared towards them.
sure. Okay.
Yep. It's a good
Okay.
idea though. That was cool. I like that.
Thank you. Except it doesn't work, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Um, I
You
mean, I
also
guess I
notice as you're
could.
thinking. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I could just like do some crazy illusion that like looks like it's blocking their way or something like that.
Mhm.
But I think there's a role involved in that. I don't know if I can pull it off. I think at this point I need to just follow the servers and they can get yelled at by the prince.
The lady who's in front of you in the suit, she notices you start walking off. She's like, just be careful. Our prince, you may be esteemed guests, but also, and she looks up, don't trust the prince as much as you probably are. Especially with your clan is a very rare sight. Just be safe. And they tip their glass to you, as it were. And then they actually follow where their friend went, and they also give a polite hug to Marceline.
Okay. Okay. See, it's not that I am trusting her too much. It's that I don't want to make an enemy out of her either by having her like be
Fair.
approached by my two clan members when she's like, "Oh yeah, I should only call upon you," and then all of a sudden, just right away, they're like, "I'm gonna bring you the person that you despise."
To which, for the other two, because we will come back to that in a second, the other two, you are following Dinah, as it were, and she's just, again, whether it's natural or not, the most wonderful conversationalist you've ever met, and she's just delightful to be around. But when you get to the second floor, a couple things happen that are very interesting. Lydia, almost out of nowhere, is on the second floor now, and she immediately greets Dinah like, Miss Brand, always a pleasure to see you again. And the response Dinah gives is not that of like someone who's a superior. It's very honest of just like, Lydia, as always, you are a divine presence before me. And just gives her this interestingly not expected hug and a very light kiss on the cheek. And she just looks at her like, is the prince free, as you can see? And she points to the two of you, like, I have an escort. And she's just looking at the two of you like, oh no. The prince is not here at the moment, but I will let them know you are here. And she looks at the two of you like, I get the two of you like, are you two okay? Because is there any funny business going on? As they now look at Dinah like,
Probably unresponsive.
to which Dinah then looks and she's like, oh, sorry. And she snaps her fingers and you both immediately drop it. And you're just now like, what the fuck?
And I just was it like similar to compelling?
It's basically like that, yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, that hurts every time.
I'm sorry. I figured having an entourage would be easier to going forth before the prince, but clearly that's not the right
Unwilling?
move.
Who does that?
Oh, my dear, when you're my age, you'd be surprised how many of us do that.
Rude. Rude and callous. This is party. Rude.
She points a finger right on your mouth as you say that, like, wait. Shh. I promise I will make it up to you after I talk to your lovely prince.
But yeah, gonna get me a new body after the prince kills me, I think.
No, you'll be fine. After what I tell them, I will ensure your safety. At least on
Okay.
my part. I'm not sure if there's anything else going on. And
Well.
that's okay.
No, that was it.
Eye contact with Lydia.
Yep.
Is there what cue is she?
Oh, what
is
do
she
you
trying
see?
to cue us up for anything?
What's interesting is when Dinah's in their presence, they seem to be bending more to them than they did the prince. You also notice, and this is not natural at all, like you've never seen this before, even though you've been around for a while, you don't normally see this. Lydia's eyes glow. They are a bright emerald green that is glowing. On top of already being a masquerade breach, their eyes are also not natural.
Hmm.
And she's taking a second as you stare. And it's like, is there a problem?
For me? No.
Yeah. For the doctor, she's looking at the doctor when she says that.
Oh.
Should I go on ahead or?
I will. You two go and find your friend. I will handle Miss Brand here. To which Dinah laughs out
Goodbye.
loud. Yeah. To which Dinah laughs out loud, says, "Oh, that's a good one, Lydia. Nice one. I will wait here with Miss Cook. You too. Thank you for escorting me."
Hmm. Do you want to go back down then?
P's and Q's next time.
Yep.
Go back downstairs.
When you do, no roll is needed on this. Both of you can hear it because she's not being subtle about it. Lydia and her have a very quick conversation that you piece together a little bit. Lydia's just the back and forth is Lydia, then Dinah. Dinah, why the hell are you here? Lydia, you always have to make a dramatic entrance when you have something to proclaim to the prince. It's just standard as a Toreador. I mean, come on. I get that, Dinah, but why the Lydia? This is my last night in Boston. Let me have my moment to piss her off, because it'll be so good. And then she'll never have to deal with me again. And that's the last you hear of that conversation.
I just look at the doc and I just go, well, we're definitely in trouble.
Maybe?
But
Who knows?
let's go figure out the other problems first.
For when you both get to the floor, Brigitte, where are you now? Because again, the two you met, Cassandra and Amelia, they're now talking with Marceline. And then
Yes.
you saw servers leave. There's Marceline. There's also a bunch of other kindred in the room that if you want, you can talk to as well.
So I think what I'm doing right now is kind of waiting. I've actually been nursing the one drink for the entire
Oh
time so
yeah.
far. Like I've been not letting myself like indulge too much, but like I like quickly start drinking the rest of what's left in my glass so that a waiter will see that my glass is empty and approach me. Um and then I think I would kind of try to have a little bit of a conversation with them, but I don't think they'd respond, so I feel like it would just end up being like a very brief thing and then like I'd end up trying to follow them instead. Is what I'm kind of thinking of like general.
You play the waiting game, as it were.
Mhm.
I would say if you want, you could either be by yourself or you find a different person to talk to or a group to just kind of blend in with.
Mhm.
To which all of them just kind of, no matter what you do, if you do blend in with a different group other than Devin and Pat, they accept you. They're just like they're curious who you are. They also notice you're probably being quiet and listening in, but that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
there's more weirder things in life than that. A server eventually approaches. Now, to describe this server, older gentleman, actually kind of salt and pepper beard going on with like
Mhm.
very white hair. Not like I'm saying they're profusely old. They are very well they're very good for their age. I don't know how else to say that.
Aged like a fine wine.
Aged like a fine wine. Thank you. And they just approach with another drink. They're like, compliments of the prince to all of you. And you're in a group, like, it's you. There's also two others by you who just take it as they notice that.
Mhm.
And they let you
Um,
take the drink.
I take the drink and I almost kind of go with the same air as like when you're being offered like or when you're like looking at the menu at a restaurant and you're like, "Oh, like I just want to inquire a little bit more about this menu item," and just kind of
Oh,
be like, "Oh, like how do you treat this wine?" and like that sort of general question and see if they even do any response at all. Like, "How do you make
they
it like so perfectly tailored towards us? This is lovely."
they lean in. As they do, this is where you notice something interesting.
Mm.
They're not pale and they're breathing.
That is actually what I was gonna ask at one point. I was gonna be like, "Are all of the waiters
This
vampires
one's
or" Okay,
this one's breathing.
okay.
It's like, well, I don't know the exact specifics, but probably not the most ethical thing, especially as again they breathe in. I'm thankful it's not me. There are ways of getting certain flavors in people's blood, and I will just say I'm thankful I'm not one of those people. If it's
Um,
alcohol, someone's being served a very good drink, but I don't appreciate that. It's not consensual to me, but also it's not my place to say that.
I
They also look in and say, we also get a lot of blood bags from the local hospital
Mhm.
that we just tailor. Because some people don't want their blood messed with like that.
I kind of give them a look of like, what do you mean?
Mhm.
Like, like that, like is that what I think it means? But I don't say anything else. And I kind of just um ugh.
He
I
also
almost just
leans
like
in and
I almost just like apologize for the question, but also like hoping that it kind of implies that I'm like apologizing for the whole situation as a whole,
yeah,
and let him go.
they actually, before he leaves, he actually leans in and says, we also have, not sure if they actually gave it graciously or not, but one of your kind who sort of lives near the area, they have a lot of unique vintages and bottles. I've
Mhm.
never seen that before.
Oh, a connoisseur of sorts.
I mean, I didn't even know you could bottle this stuff.
I didn't. Well, that's why I'm shocked. Do you have any more information on them? That seems like it's a one of a
I
kind
don't
thing.
believe they're here, but they own some club over in, not actually in Harvard, sorry. They own a club more closer to Government Center near like
Mhm.
whatever Daniel Hall is. Uh, they've been collecting vintages long before, and he looks on the second floor before your current ruler, I guess, was in place. They have vintages going back hundreds of years. That's somehow, again, not sure how this stuff is preserved. It's very bizarre. That's when the
Huh.
other server walks around and just kind of just is staring at the two of you having this conversation as they leave the room.
Um. Well, yeah. I kind of just say that's you're about as stumped as I am, and almost kind of use that as like a conversation closer, kind of looking at the person behind him.
To which the other two, when you enter that space, also see that server go off into one of the wings and disappears. But you can also see Brigitte is having a conversation with one of them.
Mhm. I have info. Come find me.
Yeah. We're just waiting for you to.
Yeah.
We're waiting
I
for you
mean, it
to
would be
finish your
rude.
conversation.
Yeah. So I basically use that as like a conversation ender. Like, wow,
Yeah.
you're as stumped as I am, and I'm almost kind of like looking over their shoulder a little bit, almost kind of to signify that there's might be something they need to attend to, and um.
And
All
the
right. Well,
server just gives you this nod and it's like, if you need anything else refreshment wise, please let me know. As they bow and they start walking out of the room,
Mhm.
exiting to the wing to go replenish their tray.
Okay.
all right. So did you find out anything interesting?
Well, um, I don't know exactly what is more interesting to look into, but I did find out that did just above table as Lonnie asking this question,
Yeah,
did we know that somebody was missing, or did we just know that there was a hunter that was caught?
you just know that there was a hunter that was caught.
Okay.
Mm,
Um, so
Wait,
I
go ahead.
no, because I thought you said
Please
to.
correct me because sometimes I screw this stuff up.
No, because I remember when Lonnie was talking to the two servers before, they said someone was missing and there was a
Oh
hunter
yeah,
spotted.
technically Lonnie. Yeah, so thank you for that.
Mhm.
Brigitte would know after the conversation you had with Amelia and Cassandra because you overheard it that someone was apparently missing. You're not really
Mm.
sure of the context of that. As for the hunter, I mean, you knew that because of the prince telling the three of you.
Right, but so the prince didn't tell us that somebody was missing. This was something I
Yeah,
found out from that
this is
conversation. So
something you
this is
found
still
out using
new
Cloak of Shadows.
to tell my
Yep.
party members. Okay. Um I'll say, well, I don't know which thing is more interesting to look into at the moment, but um it seems that there is someone named Raven. I'm not sure if I remember if they were at the party or not. Um no.
You don't know.
Okay. Um who apparently saw someone actually um there's someone missing, and they seem to actually witness the situation where the hunter was being escorted towards the prince. But also, the servers are unusually quiet, and it seems to me that there might be some practices going on that they're a little questionable about. And I don't know if that ties into what we're looking into, but
What practices?
well, I don't believe all of the blood is only from blood bags. I
I
think there
would.
might be a human potentially being bloodlet to curate our drinks for the night.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's just something they do.
Is that okay? All right. I thought it was weird.
you're
I
fine.
don't know.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. No, it's cool. I mean, keep in mind this is also a situation where maybe you've never been in a sort of thing like this before, so it's more also unlearning new things, but also, again, sometimes this stuff is also just as a vampire.
Yeah.
New experiences are fascinating, but also not everything has a full picture to show. So learning this stuff is also just kind of like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because I'm
I
with
think-
you too. I would fully have gone like, wait, they're doing what now at this event?
I think Devin just kind of went in with suspended disbelief because he was like, they call themselves the Camarilla. They
Yeah.
wear dresses. There's gonna be some stuff going on.
That's true.
I mean, it ain't my cup of tea or blood, but
Exactly. To
Yeah,
each their
sure.
own. Different strokes for different folks.
I would say what you do notice as you're having this conversation again, Brigitte divulging all this, you notice Marceline, Amelia, Cassandra, as Brigitte met them, they're all still having a conversation. And you can ever so slightly hear like a loud crashing noise from the second floor. And you're not really sure what that is, but it sounds like broken glass just happened. But you can see
I
from your
fucked
vantage
up.
point. Yeah, you can see from your vantage point. There's the Prince clear as day, and then there's the lady known as Dinah, clearly talking. And you're not sure who broke or who dropped what glass, possibly, or what that noise was, but clearly something has been talked about upstairs that is loud.
Oh yeah, we fucked up.
Do you?
Yeah,
Do you
as soon as
think-
I hear that glass, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's right. What were
Do
you
you-
guys doing with Dina?
We were just asking why she was there, and then she kind of like
And then we were very
You
happy.
guys under a spell.
Maybe.
Yeah. Do we need to check in on like the servers? Like, do I need to do something there?
Like what?
I don't know. You're calling them out as being like suspicious. Do we need to go back there and check things out?
Oh.
It's
I can do it really loudly and get some of the
Uh,
attention down from there.
Hang on. Let me just do it. Well, I mean, I could just. I have a spell. Everyone, as a traumatic.
Okay.
I can do a taste for blood. The cost is free. The duration is not applicable. The user dabs the blood on their tongue and makes a resolve plus blood.
So that would be if it's that person's blood.
Right.
So are you doing it more? Oh, so are you doing it more from the drink you're having? Is what I meant to say. Sorry about that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sorry, that took a second. This is gonna seem it's gonna be weird to roll this, I guess, but I want to know. Click resolve. You're gonna roll resolve and then go to the modifier and add 3.
Okay. 1 sec.
Because the roll is resolve plus blood sorcery, so it's taking those 3 dots in blood sorcery. And
So
adding
no
that
second
resolve.
attribute.
Nope, no second attribute. And
And
just tell me how many successes you get. It says difficulty of 3, so
Wait, 3 dice?
yeah, difficulty of 3. So yeah.
No. So.
Oh yeah, for modifier 3. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And the difficulty is 3. None.
Do you want to spend willpower? So that's
Yeah,
not a messy crit.
I do.
Go right ahead.
What do I do
So
now?
you're gonna have to do this in chat. So what I'll do is on your sheet, click on one of the willpower boxes.
Yep, it's got a red
Spell.
line through it.
Yep, and then I'm trying to remember how you do this in chat because it's always confusing. I think it's type this. I think it's that / roll 3d10 because there's sadly
Backslash
no
or
way on the
forward
character.
slash?
I
there's
think it's
also
backslash.
just On
good.
the left-hand side of the screen too, there's also just like the fifth
there's
icon
that.
down just literally looks like a D20, and you can literally just like if
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
you can
Yeah,
literally
do
just like
that. I
pick
think
how
you can
many
click 3.
tokens you want. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I did not know that, actually. I forgot about that.
I'm always
Thank
really
you.
bad with the coding stuff, so if I have a cheat
Ooh.
where I can just have a button to press, it's a lot easier for my brain.
All right,
Click
that
it 2
was
more
right.
times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
that
you
was
go.
also wrong.
You know what? I'm going to accept those last 3, so you're fine, because I think the
Okay.
first one was a test one, so you actually got 3 successes on that.
Oh,
So, but also, I'm still. Do I want to count it as? No, I'm not going to. Do I want to make it messy? Nah, it'll be nice. That's not messy. To me, messy means you got 2 crits, and that's the way the sheet does it isn't technically correct. So we will go
Right.
by what the book says. You either how do you do this? Do you just put the drink to your mouth?
No, I put my finger in the
So,
drink and
Yep.
then just
You take a drink, and when you drink it, it's from one of the glasses, yeah.
yeah.
You drink it, you can tell the following: mortal person, mortal person,
Mhm.
very much was willing to do this,
Okay.
which is kind of alarming.
Not for me.
Not for you. I mean, as a Tremere, this is all research. It's always fascinating.
Yeah.
Mortal, very much was willing to do this, and again, their taste, what you're tasting,
hmm
it comes across as pure bliss, as a mood.
Right.
But also, this is very fresh, and you can tell that this was done here,
Right.
not in a bottle. This is very fresh.
Okay.
I'm
So
finding out
yeah,
all the blood secrets, but not actually anything that's helping us with the mole problem right now.
I
Um,
I just look at everybody.
I know a guy that apparently has a very nice bottled vintage of blood, though. So
I'm like, well, they're willing at least. Everyone in the glasses, I would hope. This glass was very willing to be in this glass.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure he probably said it like that too.
he was very willing to be put into the glass to be drinking.
willing, put in the glass. Oh, they're perfectly placed in the glass. But yeah, it's a little weird because you weren't probably expecting that, but yeah, the person you just did that for, they are very much okay with what's happening right now.
Yeah. And you are correct. It is happening. Probably in that back room where they all keep going.
I feel like it's a false lead, but at the same time, it's like it's the weirdest thing that's been happening so far that I've noticed that I'm like, sus.
It is.
But I don't know if it helps us with our mole problem.
It could.
Should we go check it out? It did seem like the waiter who was who I got a chance to talk to didn't seem like he was as willing to at least know that that's what he was serving.
Mhm.
So I don't know what the situation is with apparently this person was willing, but
Oh, I had an idea. Do you know who was missing?
oh, I don't think I got a name of who was missing.
You did not.
Okay.
But I do know that someone named Raven was the one that saw the hunter being escorted to the prince. That's
Right.
yeah.
Do I see Journey?
You do. Journey is actually talking with Marceline.
Oh.
And this is when you also notice the loud crash you heard above you. You now see the prince just standing still as Dinah bows before the prince and then turns around and starts walking towards the stairwell on the second floor.
I want to talk to Journey, but I don't want to like interrupt her conversation either.
You can do as you please.
A few people.
What's that?
I think Marceline, the two women that I spoke to who gave me as much information as I've learned, both of them are still talking to Marceline. Yes.
And they
okay.
seem very
Oh.
friendly with her.
Yes. So
Gotcha. Then
Journey might be okay with being stolen away.
I'd go up and just be at her elbow. I'd go, "Do you mind if I could talk to you for a couple seconds?"
To Journey.
Yeah.
As you approach, you hear the interesting back and forth that Journey's like, it's always lovely to meet another herald, even though you're not from my city, but it's always nice to communicate with another one. And then you approach saying, can we talk for a second? She's like, sure, is there a problem? Everything okay?
No, I'm actually looking for someone. I just didn't know if you knew they were here.
I would be glad to help you. Their smile gets huge as you ask that.
Yeah. I'm looking for Raven.
When you say that, the two that Brigitte was talking to,
Mm-hmm.
plus Marceline, give you this very quizzical look. And Journey doesn't ask anything. The one who's in more of like the very fancy outfit looks at you. It's like, is there a reason you want Raven?
I will, devoid of all emotion, go. You may ask the prince if you would like that information.
And they just look at you and say, you know what? Fair enough. And they go back to looking at Marceline, who just has this amazingly surprised, amused look on her face at you did that. Someone she's never met. She's like, oh, I love this. Journey just looks at you like, oh, even better. It's for our prince. Miss, it's funny, I never call her Raven. Miss LaRouge, as it were, is busy on an assignment for
Oh,
Camarilla.
all
She's
right.
not
Well,
currently at the party.
that's all right. Anyway, I
That
heard there
said,
was someone.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, well then. I heard that there was someone missing recently. Do you happen to know who that was?
It goes silent for a second. Well, it's always an interesting question because we're never sure if someone's actually missing or they just are taking personal time. And she gets very sullen the more she thinks about this. Like, well, my friend MM has not been in the tower for a while, but at the same time, she and her sire don't get along. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure if it's more they're missing or if it's more, and she says this in a very funny way, a child is having a hissy fit and doesn't want to talk to their parent.
Ran away from home.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, she also just tends to stay in Charleston, so she doesn't really come into Boston anymore.
Right. And her name was NM.
MM,
Oh,
EM,
MM.
EM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's goddamn Toreador. They're so dramatic. To which Marceline hears her say that, just like, I mean, you are talking very loudly about your clans. Like, I know, but we are all very dramatic, and it's a little over the top. We all need to take a chill pill. Ugh. But she is that I know of the only one that's not been seen in a bit, but also she's probably just taking care of her clubs and whatnot.
I'm sure that's
But yeah, she and her sire don't, and she does like the silliest sort of like they don't get along. It's like they don't get along.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. The others who, when you asked Raven, they're like, Raven might be here later. We have no idea what assignment she's on, but if it's for the prince, it's probably something Raven didn't want to do, to be honest.
Yeah.
Poor Raven.
She's a bit of an independent spirit.
Well, thank you
To
for your
which
time.
Yeah. Journey then looks at you like, is there anything else I can help with?
Not right now, but I may come find you later if I need more information.
By all means, please do. And the others
you.
all give you this knowing nod.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
At
I'll
that
turn
point,
back.
yeah, and when you turn back, Dinah's now on the floor with everyone. So when you stop talking to Marceline, she walks right past you, and you can ever so much overhear Marceline asking, "So how did it go?" "It went exactly as I thought it would."
I'm in trouble.
But touche, actually, that's a great quote. But she looks at Marceline, just like, yeah, that went exactly as I thought, and I couldn't be happier to have gotten that response out of her. Oh, I'm gonna remember that for a while. To which the others all just do this, like, oh no. Servers are back in the room serving drinks again.
Okay. I'll so Devin went off, but Doc, did you stay near me or did you also do something?
I was gonna stay near and
Okay.
I was
I
gonna
was
try and get Marceline's attention, but if she just walked off, then
Nope, Marceline actually has not walked off. It was more Dino walked up to them, so she notices you getting her attention. It's like, yes.
we didn't get to finish our conversation before I was
Yes, you
distracted.
were rudely distracted by my associate here, to which
Oh.
Dinah looks wounded at the word associate. It's like, how dare you call me
Oof.
that, Marceline? Ugh.
Demoted.
Demoted.
But I believe where we left off was we were offering to help make your night a little bit less busy.
I'm intrigued. In what way?
But you mentioned you were here on business. Can we
Oh,
assist with
yes.
that?
Well, apparently my business has already been concluded, and she's looking extremely at Dinah. Like, really? You caused her to break a goddamn glass. If you had let me talk first, it would have been much easier. It's like, what's the fun in that? Dramatics are so much more fun.
Well, glad we could have helped out with that.
I agree
Anything
100%.
anything different in the rest of the room? Like any different vibes in the rest of the room besides just oh shit at Dinah?
Well, she jokes when you say that, like, that's not the first time I've actually heard someone say that out loud. Uh, you know what? We've just met. I'll oblige you. Just give me a couple seconds. She stands perfectly still, and she literally turns her head left and right, taking the room in. And you're not really sure what's going on, but the others are all intently now looking at her, taking subtle sips here and there. To which the one who's very fancy dressed, that's not Dinah, named Amelia, just leans into you. It's like, just give her a second. I guarantee you'll get a good answer. And then Marceline kind of just snaps back to it. Well, in terms of weirdness.
Oh, I was asking if I would have recognized
Oh, I
anything
thought you were
different
asking
in the.
her. Regardless,
No.
she still does that, but also you notice that she's acting now weird because she's kind of observing the room a little bit more curiously. And it's just odd because this person who kind of had presence just like Dinah just went fully quiet and is now observing everything. And the others are all looking at her as if they're expecting an answer on something. And they just kind of say out loud as you're watching, like, well, that's strange. Uh, those, those servers are weird. Like, I'm getting a weird aura off of, and she points one of them out off that one. I can't really explain it. It's like a black color cloud of sorts. Like, just, huh. And then she points at the other one. The other one's fine. He has a wonderful yellow aura that's delightful. This one, though, someone might want to talk to them. And that's when the others who were drinking, they all stopped sipping their drinks. Like, well, we took classes from that one. Let's not do that again.
Hey, dude.
Damn.
Yep.
Hey, dude.
Go get him.
Duke.
I'm gonna.
Good.
There's a command that we would have practiced, but
Oh,
mostly I just want him to go see what he can smell following his trail.
the second person. Yeah, second person. Their hair is very much like almost like very short cut. You can't really tell if it's a pixie cut or something. Kind of hard to discern gender as well. Pale, not pale, but like light skinned. When Duke slowly and stealthily makes their way through, your connection with Duke is very strong. I'm going to say to the point where if Duke feels something's off, you sense that and also feel it. Duke gets close to this person, and it's an immediate just type of feeling. Where Duke is just like this. Like if Duke could talk, it'd be like, "Yeah, this is a not. Yeah, no." bad person bad.
All right. Do I recognize anything about this person?
No, but they seem weirdly like they're looking around the room now very rapidly.
Do
And that's
we?
when they have an empty tray and they start making their way out.
Were we all aware of the creepy server?
Whenever I notice that, I'm gonna let y'all know that something's up,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna go
Gotcha.
to intercept him.
I was gonna
Yep,
look
and
around for
you-
Lydia.
Give me, Doc, give me Dex plus Athletics. And I won't say the difficulty on this. I apologize. I just want to. We'll see what happens. I'll let the number determine a couple of things. You go to get Lydia, you said?
Yes.
Almost as if out of a shadow, she's already on the floor and she's right next to Dinah. And you could even, too, there you go. And what's funny about that is you hear this for a brief second when Lydia shows up, and Dinah
Mhm.
just says, like, I miss having you around. Do you know that? It's like, I know. I miss working for you as well. For Doc, because you got 2, you said? And yeah, you did get 2, because I can see it. Hey. This person's mortal. You can move a little bit quicker than that. So you're able to, right before they exit into the wing, you're able to kind of put yourself in front of them completely.
Hey, everything all right?
Can I help
You're looking for
you?
something? You're acting a little jumpy. I just want to make sure you're all right.
They are like sweating profusely now for no reason. Like, yes, I'm fine, I swear.
Okay. All right. Just and I want to try and calm him down.
Yeah, sure.
Just talk him down.
That would be. Do I want to do that? Oh, God. Give me composure. Or actually, sorry, I keep doing that wrong. You're going to talk him down. Do it like a persuasion plus composure. Because now you're composing yourself too to be like, hey, nothing's wrong. All's good. And then difficulty of just 2.
Okay. 3.
Nice. They ease up. It's like, sorry, just first time working an event like this.
Yeah, my first time being in an event like this. It's completely out of water. Do I like completely fish out of water? You know. Do I notice anything on him? Like any sort of weaponry or
Wits plus awareness. Or awareness plus wits. Apologies. I'm going to continue to do that. Difficulty 3. Because they're wearing a nice uniform. It's kind of hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
But also, depending on what you get, we'll see.
And without needing to be said, I have Duke.
Oh, yeah.
Right
And you
here
also have
next to
Duke.
me.
And Duke is
For
still a little on edge, like kind of lightly.
4 successes.
Which the server is probably sweating more. Yeah. You notice as the server is profusely sweating because Duke is intimidating the hell out of them. They are wearing both servers are wearing basically like formal suits of sorts. Best way to put it. Seems a little strange, but I guess that's just the attire the prince asked them to be in. You're not sure. Who knows? You can tell though. That suit looks like it's got something behind it that maybe they're not supposed to have.
All right, well, and I'll get him back up like I'm about to pat him on the back and let him be on the way. I actually do pat him on the back. What's he got?
You pat him on the back, so like where specifically? Like just the shoulder area?
Wherever I notice that he could be
Yeah.
hiding something.
You, as you pat on the back, you very clear as day feel like a harness of sorts, or like, you know what I mean, like the type of thing where if you put it on, it can holster something, or holster, not a harness, a holster of sorts. Very, and you can feel that it's very. This is going to sound weird from a vet to make sense of this. Very thick leather, like holster. You can feel that through the suit. And they just give you this look of like thanks as they walk away into the wings, trying to get another tray of glasses.
He was the only one that we were getting that
Only
someone
one.
else. Okay.
The other server, like she said, wonderful yellow aura that was delightful.
Where is he walking to?
They are walking toward, they're in one of the wings. There's a bunch of gorgeous sculptures. They're walking past that towards a door that they walk straight into and walk out of. You're assuming that it leads to some form where the blood is being stored.
Once they go through the door, I would like to go in after them and pin them against the wall.
I will say, I will give you an opportunity on this. Give me dexterity plus athletics. If you get more than 2 successes, I will say that you get them before they walk out the door, and you do exactly that.
But I want to do this where I'm not going to cause a scene.
Oh, I know. No, that's the thing though, is you're in a hallway where there's no one else but that server, so you're fine. You can do this. And your two compatriots, as it were, Brigitte and Devin, you see Pat just walk off into that wing by themselves, following the server.
Okay.
You got exactly it. You hurriedly, somehow very quietly that they don't notice, you get up to them and do exactly as you said. You pin them up against the wall. And they're just looking at you like terrified right now.
Oh, the hand that I'm pinning him to the wall in, and now has very, very long, like bestial claws coming out of it as I use feral weapons.
Yep, and I'm going to. I think there's a rouse check with that, or is there not?
There is one rouse check.
Give me one rouse check, just because. Oh, you succeed. So you do not increase your hunger, so that's good. That exactly happens. Very, very, very long, sharp nails, like fingernails, protrude out of your hand, or claws. Sorry, as you said, protrude out. And this person now is very self-aware of what you're doing and is more terrified than they've ever been in their life. And they're like, "What the hell's going on?"
You better tell
What
me
do you want?
that, son.
And that's when I'm going to say you take a second with your other hand to pat down and reach into that spot you saw that looked a little sus, as it were. And you pull out what could best be described as a pistol, except it doesn't look like anything you've ever heard of or seen. It's weird. Like whatever this is, clearly not mass produced, looks custom. It has like see-through casing of sorts. And you see this, whatever can be described as ammunition in it. It's like this almost yellowy, fiery thing.
I've seen Underworld. I know what this is.
And you're just looking at that and looking at them, and it's like, what the fuck does a server need with a custom firearm?
I know what a server needs with this.
Before we get back to that,
yeah.
Do the other two follow as they leave the wing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna just grab Lydia, but like I was like, well, we're going.
And Lydia just sees you going, like, wait, why are you going in and you're in the wing? Does Brigitte follow as well?
I think she will, but she'll kind of try to hang back a little bit just to see if it looks like anyone else will be going in that area, and she will try to distract anyone if they try to go down that hallway.
Marceline, Amelia, and Cassandra all look intrigued, but they also kind of just shrug it off. They're like, it's none of our business. Let's not do anything. And no one seems to want to enter the wing anyways, so it's just you follow Devin in, and then you stand there, and then realize no one else is really coming in. But what the two of you notice, especially Devin, because you went first, Pat has this server pinned against the wall, and then Brigitte, you also see this briefly as you then turn your gaze to make sure no one enters the space. For Devin, Lydia follows you in, and is looking now at Pat, a little horrified. And as she gets closer to you, Pat, she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And before she can finish the sentence, she sees the firearm and goes dead quiet.
What you got there, bud?
A smoothie.
I meant the ostrich.
It's an egg. Hey. She doesn't say anything, but she just sees that firearm, and it's just like subtle glimpses of horror in the eyes. Well, but
Can
go
we
ahead.
get the prince?
I say, and she's looking around the room like, if we want to do this in a way that doesn't become very publicly known, I think there's a stairwell down that hallway that doesn't lead into the main room that we can take upstairs with our new friend here. And she says
also-
that with fangs baring.
Yeah. I also have a
Yeah.
suggestion. I could compel him to tell us if there's anything else going on tonight.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Yeah, let's go
I see
upstairs
nothing
first.
wrong with Yeah, I see nothing wrong with that. I would say, let me just check that first before you go upstairs, because I don't think that's a roll. I think
It's
compel is.
not.
There's a roll, but here's the
Oh, is
thing:
it
they're
really? Oh, yeah.
mortal. No, the beauty
Yeah.
of this is so fun thing about vampire powers.
Oh,
hey,
that's right. Yeah.
if they're mortal, there is no roll because it just happens. If you were doing that against another vampire, then yeah, I would be making a roll to oppose you. But considering they're mortal and breathing, they have no willpower to defend against that. It's just naturally happens. You, Pat, you have this person pinned against the wall, and Lydia sidles up right next to you and says, "If you let go, I can take care of our lovely and guest here. If you don't mind holding on to whatever that firearm is," as they say with very appalled eyes.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even want to touch that.
Holding it.
Bring my claws out of the drywall behind the
Yeah.
stand.
Wait, did the claws go into the wall?
Probably.
She's now looking at the wall like, that's fine, it can be fixed later. You hold on to the firearm that she's just like, I don't want to touch that at all. And she does something that maybe the three of you have not seen, or maybe you've heard, vampires can do this. She grabs the person and just holds them on with one arm and literally lifts them from the floor and carries them out of the room upstairs.
Pretty strong.
To wit,
Strong lady.
We follow?
Yeah.
yep.
No.
And this time
go.
she's like, I promise I won't do any weird disappearing acts. She stays in front of you the whole time.
So we go upstairs.
You go upstairs. The prince is, strangely enough, has a white rag of sorts wrapped around her hand for a second, and you notice it's just drenched in red, that she then takes off and is like looking at her hand that's clear as day now, and just puts the towel of sorts or whatever it was down, and just sees Lydia hoisting a server off the ground with the three of you coming in behind them, and they just look at you like, was there something wrong with our drinks?
They
Just-
came with ammunition.
Eject the mag from the thing.
When you eject the mag from the thing, do you hand the mag to the prince, or do you hand both the gun and the mag to the prince?
I just like eject
Show
it
it.
enough to show.
Okay.
Snap
They-
it back and put it
They
down
walk
on
up to,
whatever table or whatever is in front of us.
when you do that, they walk up, and you can see, the three of you see it clear as day. Their eyes do like that beaming open of recognition. And she looks at the server and it's like, oh, you naughty, naughty, naughty mortal. And she just looks at the three of you and actually holds her hand out. It's like, may I see that, please? The firearm.
I request that you don't kill him just yet before I can compel him.
I promise I will not. I want
Okay.
to give a learning experience that I'm not sure if any of you have seen yet.
Okay.
She ejects the mag and pulls out one of the rounds, and she just looks at the person you're about to compel on. It's like, this is a nifty little trick that could be quite explosive, if you get what I'm saying. And by all means, please do as you please, sir. And she points to you, Devin.
Yep.
Compel them.
I just compel him and get him under, and I go, which group do you work for?
They look like they try to resist, and then
Mhm.
the word just blurts out. I work for... And they try to keep resisting. It's like, I am with the Second Inquisition. To which the prince just bares her fangs and hisses like a cat.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah, keep going.
to which none of you need to roll on that. You've heard rumors of this. You all thought maybe it wasn't real, but then again, maybe it is real. There's been in these modern nights a group that supposedly is funded by some form of government that knows that Kindred are real, and they have been doing their part to basically snuff them out, as it were. The name is very much like it's a boogeyman hoax. Like, who believes in that? But more and more in these nights, it's becoming more and more apparent they are real and
Right.
they are a threat to your lives. And this person just saying that makes you kind of go like, okay, maybe the prince deserves to hiss like that.
Mhm. I will continue to ask if there are any other Second Inquisition operatives here tonight.
I'm the only one, but... And they try to resist again, but I have a group on standby 5 blocks away.
Address?
She gives you an address that's literally 5 blocks away.
Yeah. And I just hand it to Lydia to take care of.
Yep. Lydia just looks at the prince, who doesn't say anything. She just nods, and then this time you actually see it. Lydia walks to the darkest corner of the room, and you start noticing it gets darker and darker, as if the lights are being snuffed out.
Right.
And she just walks into pure black and is gone.
Right.
And then you take a second again, like, what the fuck? And you look, and Devin would know this specifically. She can walk through shadows from point A to point B. She's now outside the front door, and you can hear the door open completely.
And then, what was your plan tonight?
She just points at the gun to snuff you out, you blank body.
Okay, hang on. So your whole plan was one gun and a group of guys 5 blocks away.
I have a
Against
group of highly trained operatives 5 blocks away that could easily take
Hang
you out
on,
with
mind
much heavier
slave.
pistols.
You-
They stop when you say that.
Yeah. You decided to take on a building full of vampires raging in age from thousands of years to hundreds of years with a pea shooter and a group of allegedly highly trained mortals.
The prince, as you say that, looks at you and points out, this isn't a pea shooter. They call this, I think it's called Dragon's Fire. It's incendiary.
I believe you.
The minute that touches us, we just light up like a Christmas tree.
I believe you. But
Yeah.
there is one, and there's a lot of ammo. Does it fire columns of fire?
Pretty much if one hits you, you better fully expect that you're about to ignite into flame pretty quickly.
Does it kill multiple vampires with one bullet?
No, it kills one of us, but also clearly she's not alone. So she might have just been sent in to scope the place out and then
Right.
call in her team.
I mean, I guess the plan was roughly thought out, but I feel like to attack the Prince of Boston, this wasn't enough.
They're just looking at you like they can't say anything, as if they're just like so mad. The prince just looks at you like, well, I think, one, good job, but two, I think a live demonstration is in order of what not to do in front of the Prince of Boston with this mortal who tried to cause a scene. And she just looks at the three of you like, follow me to the floor. We're going to have a learning experience for everyone. Which you then see her bodyguard walk in. You have no idea what clan this guy is, but as you have compelled this person, they now have locked eyes and they just say, follow me. And they don't say a damn word. This person straightens up and immediately follows. This is a weird turn of phrase to use because Duke's in the room. They follow like a lapdog. As the prince goes to the floor and proclaims, ladies and gentlemen, Our party this evening, obviously, and she points to the three of you who walk behind her, is for our esteemed guests who we welcome into our lovely organization. However, no party is complete without a little bit of entertainment. To which they throw the server in the middle of the room and let everyone know who they are and what was about to be planned. To which minutes go by as this person probably gets offered to one of the vampires in the room, to which Lydia somehow walks in with two heavily armed people, both hand in hand, that are not moving, and she then throws two more in the center of the room. As the prince then turns to the three of you and just says, "Job well done," as you watch a rather disturbing scene break out, as you watch these three mortal hunters get kind of fed upon in a room full of very well-dressed kindred. And on that disturbing note, that's where our story concludes.
Wait, but what's our boon?
Yeah, no, I had it all planned.
Oh, your boon. I want to know what your boon is. If you have a boon, I'd love to know it, because the prince, no matter what, is going to grant you that boon.
All right, I'll go last.
If you have a boon, I'm all for hearing it, because the prince will clearly as day grant it, given this
Yeah.
situation was much more explosive than thought.
Okay. My boon was going to be I was going to ask for a chance to acquire the prince's friendship.
Oh, that's so adorable.
No, I just mean more as like
I know,
no.
that's what I was just thinking, like,
like,
she would actually. Yeah, go ahead.
I meant more of like a friendship in a relationship sense, whereas I would grow
what
a
you mean.
relationship with this person.
She would acquiesce, and she would also make sure that you had full access to the Tremere's library in Boston, if you hadn't
Nice.
had it already, including possibly hidden books that were not supposed to be seen.
Excellent. Anybody
anyone
else?
If not,
I want a piece of artwork.
she looks at you when you ask that, and she's like,
I was gonna say, make it disappear and make it tomorrow morning be explainable to all the museum goers. Make it make sense.
she points to one of Monet's water lilies, and it's like, "It's all yours.
Ooh, nice.
Have fun framing that in your home."
Ah, I
And
need to
then
get
her,
I need to get an RV or something.
yeah,
Wee woo, art police.
yeah. And then does Doc ask for anything, or does you just hold on to the boon for later usage?
Doc is going to ask. He knows that the prince runs shit around here.
Oh yeah.
He just wants to be left alone. Like he's got his night job at his vet. He doesn't want to be involved in all this political drama. He'll help out if people like are in danger and everything, but he doesn't want to be.
And
He doesn't want to be in this drama.
She weirdly acquiesces to that, even though she's like, "You still are technically under my rule, but if you want to be left alone, I will make sure you are left alone."
Perfect.
And
That's
as I said, yeah, and as I said, that's where we're gonna end tonight. So, good job, everyone. That was fun. It's always an
That was
interesting
really
game when
cool.
you do this, because it's so much social dynamics working, and you never know what'll happen once dice rolls, because either it works in
Yeah.
your favor or you're just like, "Well, crap."
I actually really enjoyed how it was mostly roleplay.
It's
I knew
usually
I was gonna
how
like that, but
Yeah, that's usually how I prefer running this. Is it's a great system to RP, but also God, can horror be a very heavy theme with this game sometimes in ways you don't expect.
yeah.